A man who could easily do a 25-hour filibuster just about red turn arrows. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. The judgment. Get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. I love that about you. Mayhem and me in the studio, and I got stuff to talk about. All right, let's see. I just saw Lena Dunham giving a speech. I'm really obsessed with. I have two obsessions. I have obsessions with blowhards, and I also have an obsession with extra talkers. I don't know why, but it's the extra. I guess it's because it's a close cousin of the blowhard. The extra, it's the people. It's people who interview themselves. Where they go, do I think that illegal criminals, aliens who've harmed Americans should be deported? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Do I think innocent Guatemalan citizen grandmothers with no tattoos should be hauled off, chained up, and thrown in a gulag? No, I don't. No. Oh, okay. This is an interesting little game where you just fucking interview yourself and then you come off like a hero.
You're right.
It's a weird thing, and then it's all the fucking extra talk. Like it's kind of a chick thing, but it's also like I'll go into the Home Depot and I'll go, "Where's the CDX half-inch ply? Do you have exterior half-inch CDX ply?" And they'll go, "Aisle 19." I'll go, "Thanks." The extra talkers go in and go, "You have CDX half-inch ply because we're building my niece a tree house." And then they go, "Oh, a tree house." And then you go, "Yeah, her name is Geraldine. Oh, I have a niece, but her name is Gina." And now we're off and running nowhere.
Okay.
My thing is military talk.
To the point.
Let's do this. What are we doing? We're building a tree house. What are we doing now? We're at Home Depot. What do we want? Half-inch CDX ply. Okay, why are we talking to this bitch in aisle 14 about our niece in the tree house when the plywood's in aisle 19 and we can get the fuck out of here?
Well, all right. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So all the extra talky people, and it's and always in their story that they tell, they end up being the hero. They're always the hero in the story. And it's kind of funny because when they talk about like the LGBT, whatever, the trans community, everybody's a genius. Everybody's a hero. There are no fuck-up trannies. You notice that? I've seen a lot of trannies. They mostly look like fuck-ups to me. But in this world, they're all fucking heroes. And they should inspire us.
All right.
So here's Lena doing her trans speech.
Yeah, I was wondering where you're going with this.
Oh. She's, by the way, can I tell you something? When Girls was at the height of its popularity, I said, she's not funny, so you're not going to be hearing a lot from her in the future. But she was the toast of Hollywood when Girls, and I said, but she's not funny, so we're not going to hear a lot from her. Like, look, politics aside, it's not about politics. It's like, look, Seth MacFarlane has the opposite politics I have. Jimmy Kimmel has the opposite politics I have. And so is Sacha Baron Cohen, but they're funny.
Yeah.
They're funny. And so you go, oh, we're going to hear from this guy for years on, right? Because they're creative and they're funny. It's not me hating on her because of her politics. She's not funny. There's plenty of, Jon Stewart's funny, different politics. Bill Maher, funny. Like, they're going to keep going. She's not.
So this is her tight five right here?
Let's see. I don't think there's anything tight about her these days, but go ahead.
But as I've watched my trans loved ones come into their own truths, it was as if I went from perceiving only primary colors to a whole rainbow of subtle shades.
Oh, yeah.
From seeing flat images to looking at the world in 4D. And I released so much of the need to define myself against someone else's measuring stick. I was able to embrace aspects of
Dawson, I'm going to tell you this for maybe the 18th time. Just stay on the button if we do these things. Go on the other. I know you got other stuff to do, but just stay poised because we're going to do a lot of starting and stopping with this bitch. I got a better idea. I got another idea. No. Oh. Here's what I want to do. I've said many times, in order to round up some of these illegal criminals that are here, in this country legally, instead of going to their neighborhood and kicking in the doors and risking innocent death or the death of the ICE agents or even the person whose apartment they're busting into, you just put a sign out front of the forum here, and it just says free cockfights for Raiders fans only. And whoever shows up, we just arrest. And then I've said, look, so what? We get some deadbeat dads caught up in the mix. You know what I mean? Like, so be it. We'll go them all. I got a new plan.
No.
When they do one of these fucking trans day of recognition and they hold it at 1 o'clock on a Tuesday and Lena Dunham's going to be the keynote speaker, whoever fucking shows up, I want to know, are you on disability? Are you getting federal assistance? Why are you here at 1 o'clock on a fucking Thursday? Because everyone else is at work. And I guarantee these people who are injured emotionally, these are the ones with the back, because their back is too bad, they can't work, but they're fucking head cases. There's nothing wrong with their back. Your back is in your head, but they can't work because of or they're marginalized or victimized. If you can wear stiletto heels and walk 7 blocks to support Lena Dunham and you're on disability, I'm taking the disability away. That's all. This will be my white trans version of my brown Raiders fans only cockfight thing. I guarantee, okay, the people in the crowd, whenever they hold these things, it's like it's a Tuesday and it starts at 11 in the morning and it goes to 3. Okay, why aren't you fucking working? Where's your work? What's going on with work? They're always in the crowd.
Yeah.
It's not like they're independently wealthy. It's not like, well, that's some hedge fund dude and he sold his tech company a few years ago and it got bought up by IBM and now he just goes to trans rallies. These people are doing something. They're on some kind of disability, whatever. The federal government is cutting them checks and they're saying they're unable to work, but they can hold a cardboard sign over their head for 3 hours and stand there in high heels. I'd say you can do data entry on an ergonomically correct chair in a cubicle.
No idea what's going on here.
All right, we'll watch the rest. Sorry.
In 4D, and I released so much of the need to define myself against someone else's measuring stick, and I was able to embrace aspects of who I truly was.
Hold on. I.
Wait,
fucking all roads lead to narcissism. These fucking people just get up there and talk about.
But she used to be a boy, and then now she's a girl, so.
Lena Dunham?
Yeah. No. I'm sorry.
I think she was a girl, and now she's a lumberjack, but she's still a girl.
That's a linebacker.
You don't know who Lena Dunham is?
Hell no. I mean,
good
look,
for you.
bud.
Listen.
It's a gay test, and I passed.
Take this in the spirit in which is intended. I wish I was you sometimes.
Yeah.
I do.
I know,
just
but
so gleefully ignorant, not knowing all that's going on.
It's real fun. I only know what comes across the news desk.
Man.
I know.
Like a
it's
newborn,
a fun life, bud.
Like a newborn with a beard and a tattoo.
Yeah, you
who
gotta check
chokes
it out.
out people. Like a newborn. All right. Well, she was a very popular comedic actress.
Where? I never seen her. I never seen this lady in my life.
She had a show called Girls, and all the critics loved it, but nobody watched it. But she was the toast of the town for several years.
Oh, well, bless her heart.
All right, sorry.
Of the need to define myself against someone else's measuring stick, and I was able to embrace aspects of who I truly was that I had beaten into submission. To know a trans person is to know someone who has taken a Herculean journey to overpower these assumptions.
Hold on a second. Wasn't it Herculean?
Yeah.
Did it turn into Herculean?
It's not Herculean.
Man.
It's Herculean.
She gained a lot of weight since King of Queens. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Different chick.
Oh, what's her name?
Lena Dunham.
Oh, where's her puppets at?
It's as in Lena, her career's Dunham. All right. Well, I'm not harshing on her. I'm just saying she's untalented and unfunny. We hoisted her up to be the new face of comedy. She never was.
Well, to be fair, I've been laughing this whole segment.
Well, that's true. All right, here we go.
Is to know someone who has taken a Herculean journey to overpower these assumptions. Someone who has experienced profound inner and outer doubt, and they have triumphed. Their very existence in this world is a miracle of self-definition, and as a result, my trans loved ones are the wisest, funniest, and most embodied people that I have ever known.
All right. Most trans I see seem to be batshit crazy, as far as I can tell. But I only know that from seeing them on TV.
Well, they always want want you to take them on a date and like buy them a lobster, and it's a whole thing, bro. You can't.
I like that they're wise. Like, who should we consult? The old man on the hill with the beard, or the trans nut job having a smart cocktail down at the gay bar? Let's talk to the guy who can't figure out his own sexuality.
Wisest and funniest.
And the funniest. Yes, the funniest. Also, I made it to age 60 without any trans members in my community, or I should say in my immediate family or my community. How is it 10 minutes? It's been 10 minutes, and these people give these speeches. They go, my son and my ex-husband and my proctologist all are trans, and everyone I know is trans, and I got picked up by an Uber driver who was trans. It took me to this gig, and the guy set up the microphone as trans. And the guy who erected the stage here is trans. And then later on, I'll be flying back to L.A. with 2 trans pilots. Like, when did everyone in your family become?
Yeah.
How many trans? Statistically, let me just ask you this.
Yeah.
Statistically, is it possible that every blowhard celebrity has trans members of their family? It's statistically not.
It's not impossible.
It's statistically impossible.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
If you got a big enough family, I have a big enough family where I have a they them somewhere in the family for sure.
I guess
100%.
If you dig.
Oh
real
yeah,
deep.
I'm digging. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like something we can't quite understand because it's your own personal journey, and then this culture, this society has fostered where you can become that if you want.
All right,
But
so you know someone in your family.
I don't really know them, but I have a cousin that's like, yeah.
Do they have a name?
Violet.
Are they trans?
Yes.
They switched over.
Yes. Well, no, they switched to like they them. I don't understand it, bud.
All right, wait a minute. Are they trans? Was it a dude who became a woman?
The girl that went non-binary. I don't understand.
I don't know if that's trans.
I know, yeah.
You got to switch teams.
Oh, I see.
Remember,
well, yeah, she didn't get on the steroids and like, have a giant clit or anything. She's just like a regular person.
Let me explain, Mayhem.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Joe Namath was a Jet, but he finished his career as a Ram.
I know.
But he trans to another team. But it's not like he started his career as a Jet and then he ended his career on the bench as a Jet. That's not transing.
Oh, okay,
that's a different role.
Okay.
Different role, same team.
Well, what I'm saying is it's just the society we live in, like in their age group. See, it's tough.
But has her name changed?
It's okay. Yeah.
What was her first name?
I don't even remember. I'm not going to dead name my cousin.
Well, are they dead?
No, but their name is dead.
Oh, their name is dead. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, did they stay with 2 female names?
Sort of, yeah.
Well, Veronica's a female name.
Well, I'm sorry. Indigo. Violet.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway.
Indigo.
All right. I'm confused.
I know. I'm confused too. Now I have to go dig into my Facebook family.
Please. All right. Here we go. Lena.
And as a result, my trans loved ones are the wisest, funniest, and most embodied people that I have ever known. So if these words reach just one teenager who wonders if they've been abandoned by cis people after the most recent election, or one trans person struggling to remember how loved they are, I will have done my whole job. So we love you, we see you, we bow down to your charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. And we are so lucky to love you. and to fight with you and for you, to learn from you, and to ensure that our rights are inseparable from yours. Trans lives don't just matter. They transform the world into a place of possibility, joy, and discovery.
Yeah. All right, now let's eat. Let's go. Wrap it up. I'm getting peckish. Yes, I know. They transform the world.
Yeah, that echo chamber right there. Yeah, I could see why that exists. I was
You know what
starting to
they
squirt
do?
milk out my tits right now.
Don't they always do? They always shoot for the moon. They go too high. They go, trans people are the bravest, smartest, wisest people in the world, and they are transforming our world into a utopia. And then we all go, oh, cut this shit. Jesus Christ. What they should do is they go, trans people aren't nearly as annoying as you might think. Some of them are okay. Just fucking live with it, would you?
You know, I listened to that. She said the wisest, funniest, and most embodied.
Most embodied.
People she knows. I had to look up the definition of embodied. Do you know what it means? It's possessing or existing in bodily form.
Yeah.
But they're the most.
Yeah.
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 I'd say everyone over 6'7" is the most embodied. But by the way, it's just all extra nonsense word salad talk. That's all it is. That's where we're at today. All right. Number 2, I came across one of my favorite best of cuts in the PSA department. Now, what is my obsession with worthless PSAs and worthless information? Well, my obsession with it is the same one I have with the extra talk, which is we could have been telling people things that they might need to know or would be good to know.
Yeah.
You know, but we don't. I mean, it kind of goes back to, you know, when I was in junior high and in high school, but in junior high, you know, we had cooking class and sewing class and ceramics class. And in cooking class, we learned to make Pillsbury Parmesan popovers. You take Pillsbury muffins, you put them out on a tray, and you sprinkle Parmesan cheese on them, and you put them in the oven. One of the worst things you can put in your body. I've never made them before or since. It's been 45 years. I don't make them. I spent a goddamn semester having my head full of information that's totally unuseful and has no application in the real world.
Yeah.
Listen, if in fact you'd like to cook as an adult, you may learn to cook, or you may choose not to cook. Jimmy was not a foodie when I met him, but has become a foodie because it's a passion of his. I have not. He chose this. I did not. He trained himself, and now he's quite the chef. But that's for him to explore.
Yes.
The Pillsbury popovers are neither here nor there. But we could have learned something about taxation and how to fill out tax forms and balance checkbooks and compounded interest, things of that nature, things that would, how to secure a credit card, insurance, and interest on credit cards, and things that would prove to be important later on in life.
But if everybody knows it, then the game's too easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Thing you want to do is turn out citizens who know things.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. So my problem with all these PSAs is the same with the click it or ticket on the freeway signs. It's a waste of time. You're not affecting any change. Everyone already knows this. Their cars told them to do it. One of the ones I used to rail against because Loveline was a syndicated radio show, and we would sit in the booth during commercial breaks, and the feed that we got was the PSA feed. We didn't get the feed to the local stations we were on because there was 150 of them. So I wouldn't hear the local RV thing. They would feed PSAs. And I guess if you didn't have any commercials sold in your region, the PSA would play. And the ad council would play one after the next of worthless PSA. Now, what I'm saying is just like the freeway sign, where you have literally millions of eyeballs passing under it on a weekly basis, hundreds and tens of thousands of people every day on LA freeways just going underneath these signs. What a waste of real estate. You could put stuff up there that would be usable. And Loveline was on 150 markets, very successful, number one almost everywhere. So you have this large audience, and you could be telling them something they could use. Mm-hmm. But instead, we had the Ad Council, which is just a perfect money laundering grift of the government gives them money. They make commercials nobody gives a fuck about. There's no accountability and nobody cares. And I've tried to interview them 10 times and they will not talk to anybody because why should they?
Yeah.
They just keep getting grants and money from the thing. They do innocuous spots that don't change anyone's life and have no effect on anybody. And this is the one that drove me the most nuts. And I'll tell you why, but stay on the button, Dawson.
What a tough thing your body is. It's built to withstand bending, pinching,
Ouch.
tattooing, swimming.
Hold on. Tell that to Barack Obama's chef. Do you know how many fucking people drown every year? Your body's not made to withstand swimming. You can swim, but there are a lot of fucking drowning deaths every year.
It's true.
Barack Obama's chef.
Oh, yeah?
His body was not designed to go swimming. So he's dead.
So he's swimming with the fishes.
I'm saying, don't give examples of stuff where literally thousands of people die every year engaging in the thing you say our body's designed to. But you're going to hear later what it's not designed for, but we'll keep it going. Go ahead, Dawson.
What a tough thing your body is. It's built to withstand bending, pinching,
Ouch.
tattooing, swimming, bumping, tickling, shaving, loud noises, childbirth.
All right, hold on. How many people die every year in childbirth?
Oh, yeah.
Lots and lots of people die giving birth. So you've already given two examples where a lot of people die. Now, nationally, it's still a lot. Worldwide, it's into the millions of people, into the drowning and the childbirth every year. But those are your examples. But wait till you hear what we're not designed for.
Well, also, your body is not designed for sustained loud noises. You will go deaf.
You will go deaf, but I'm giving him, I'll give him a pass.
Some leeway.
Go ahead. Give him a leeway.
Shaving, loud noises, childbirth, football.
People are bad. Destroyed playing football. All right, hold on. Okay. People die playing football every year. A couple of high schooler guys die, but people are horribly injured playing. Your body's not designed for football. So you got football, you got swimming, you got childbirth, but you got bad cooking. There's definitely people die of E. coli and whatever food poisoning, whatever they got.
Yep.
Worldwide, it's into the thousands, millions. The one that was good is rollerblading, which is, yeah, you can rollerblade, but not the way they portray it. That's you going into an intersection and cars slamming their brakes on. Go ahead.
Rollerblading, marathons, even company meetings.
All right, now here's the scourge. Here's what you're not designed for. Here we go.
But there's something the human body isn't built to withstand. Unexpected turbulence. Happily, though, planes are built to withstand that really well.
Okay, all right. Nobody dies from turbulence. Nobody dies. All right, everyone, quick thought experiment. Close your eyes. Mm-hmm. Think about the luminaries, the dignitaries, the politicians, the celebrities, friends, family, neighbors, possibly transitioning second cousins. Can anyone summon the name? Not that they know personally, just, well, you know how Gerald Ford died, right? Turbulence. Is there a case? Is there a documented case of somebody dying of turbulence? Is somebody you know, somebody you've heard of, two of the guys from the band Menudo, they hit some rough air and they're not with us anymore. Like, okay, so you did a PSA where you picked a whole bunch of shit where people do die and then used it as an example for things where people never die.
What about them guys that sung Sweet Home Alabama?
Oh, yeah, Leonard Skinner. But their plane hit a swamp in a tree.
We hit turbulence.
No, they hit a tree balance.
Oh, okay.
All right, but also, and then now we're getting back to click it or ticket on the freeway signs, which is, there is no such thing as getting on an airplane and not getting a lecture about your seatbelt. So we don't need this PSA because as soon as you sit down on your plane, you get all the lights and the placards and the discussion of put your seatbelt on. Then you'll get the pilot going, I've turned the seatbelt sign off, but I still recommend you keep the seatbelt sign on because of turbulence. So why would we possibly need a PSA about something that we're already being told incessantly?
Well, I thought Dawson just did it for the paycheck. That wasn't you when you were younger, wasn't it?
That was young Dawson.
That was young Dawson when you were 17?
All right. So the reason we don't need click it or ticket is because our car is already telling us to put our seatbelt on. And the reason we don't need turbulence is because the stewardess and the pilot and everyone on the plane, I don't know, the over-under on seatbelt conversation on a commercial flight, average time 3 hours, has to be 26 times.
Yeah,
put it
right.
on, take it off, put it back on. We're having a little rough air, so put it back on. Don't go to the bathroom until we've put the sign. It's a nonstop discussion. So why would we need a PSA at 2 in the fucking morning?
You're right.
You're wasting everyone's time. It's a zero burger. This has prompted zero people to put their seatbelt on in an airplane. And click it or ticket has prompted zero people to put their seatbelt on in a car. So I would argue, why don't we go on to something that would be effective, something we need to talk about, something that could be
all right,
useful.
So what's your dream PSA?
When taking an unprotected left, advance into the intersection.
That's right. Look, almost everybody driving does not have the correct tire pressure on all 4 tires.
Yeah.
And it affects their mileage. It affects the wear on the car. It affects the road. It affects accidents. It affects blowouts. It affects everything. Why not start that campaign and have tire filling sections?
Yeah.
And you'd pull off and you could get the guy to fill it up to the right thing. Everyone would use it, save millions of gallons.
Because the tire lobby
They won't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 30 seconds left. Okay, here we go.
Human body isn't built to withstand unexpected turbulence. Happily, though, planes are built to withstand that really well. All you have to do is wear your safety belt the entire flight. So next time you fly, stay buckled up the whole time. Because after all, turbulence happens, and you're just not built for it. This message is a public service of this station and the Federal Aviation Administration.
It's a public service. The public has got so much out of that fucking ad I used to have to hear every night. I used to scream about, as soon as we came back on the air, I would scream about the ad.
I remember.
Jesus Christ. But then it reminded me of an ad that's funny because the Lincoln Project put an ad out about how dangerous COVID was for school kids, which, by the way, let me just say this about COVID or the Lincoln Project and all you assholes. There's tons and tons of footage of me screaming about COVID. I haven't tried to bury or scrub any of it from the internet. Why are you guys burying and scrubbing your own fucking shit about COVID? Because you're insanely wrong, and it may bring into question the next thing you're going to be insanely wrong about. But the thing that made me laugh about this one is now they've shifted the theme, which is we wanted to keep schools open. Oh, you wanted to keep schools open. Okay, why did you run an ad saying Trump wants to open schools and he's dangerous if you wanted to keep schools open?
I remember.
But this is a great... Everyone's got to go back and look at this shit because it's insane because it's only like 4 years old. I don't know when this was. This is... I don't know if we have a date on this, but it's a quick one. But it's funny when you watch it because... I'll show it. Get ready to stop.
The start of school. Okay. Usually it's exciting watching them take the next step.
Okay. They're going to tell you about how dangerous COVID is at school, but one of the first images when we're on the happy side of the commercial is a 6-year-old standing up in a school bus with no seatbelt.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Far more dangerous than COVID. Far more dangerous than COVID. See, they did the same thing the airplane turbulence retards did. You guys, your happy example was more dangerous than the one you're about to warn us about. No healthy young 6-year-old died of fucking COVID. None. But plenty of kids die every year sitting in a fucking school bus because they don't have headrests and they don't have seatbelts. So there's a 6-year-old and he's standing in a moving school bus with no seatbelt. Okay.
Exciting watching them take the next step. With COVID, it's terrifying.
I'm just scared.
We're scared. Hold on a second.
Yeah,
I love a
that
commercial.
modulation.
Commercial's like, hey, let's find some dumb fat bitch to go, I'm scared. Yeah, okay, you're scared of everything, Dumbo. Why are we listening to you? You're fucking scared of the chupacabra. Should I fucking put a helmet on before I leave?
The sound effects made me terrified.
You're terrified?
Yeah.
They're all scared. All right, what's happening here? What's going on?
I'm just scared.
Trump and Betsy DeVos are hell-bent on forcing kids back to the classrooms.
The school should open. This thing's going away.
There's no plan for their safety.
No
and
plan.
with Trump's $8 billion education cuts, schools just aren't ready.
I do not want to go to another funeral for my student.
COVID puts
Hold
everyone
on.
at risk.
It's funny. They got B-roll of a mass grave from Mogadishu.
Yeah, what was
Like,
that?
where was the mass? Oh, yeah. All those kids in those pine boxes with the mass grave. I don't even know what fucking country they got this from.
What?
This is not from the United States. We don't do mass graves. What? Although, if you could sign up for one, my parents definitely would have signed up
Oh, yeah,
one.
that looks like a little bit of CDX Supply.
Oh, yeah. Good one, son.
There you go.
But they show footage of a mass grave. Right, because remember all those 9-year-olds we had to bury that Wednesday in a fucking giant trough. We dug a tunnel and we buried them all.
I love
propaganda. They're
propaganda.
showing shit from different countries at this point, but go ahead.
COVID puts everyone at risk. Trump just added our kids to the list.
The Lincoln Project is responsible for the content of this advertising.
All right, Lincoln, maybe you were wrong about this subject. Well, turns out the data's in. Kids should have gone back to school, and you fucked them up from keeping them from going to school. So anyway, I get that you want to bury this Lincoln Project, but the internet's great that way. So we have it. And I'll tell you what, next time you tell me about something that's going to happen that's not going to happen, maybe I'll think back to the time you lied about this. All right. Joe Dombrowski is in, comedian, former school teacher. We'll talk to him right after this. Simply Safe. There's things you worry about at home, safety. I just gave Dr. Drew some of those tub stickies so he won't slip in the tub because you could get hurt. And what about Simply Safe? With Simply Safe, millions of Americans enjoy greater security and peace of mind every time they arm their system when heading out each morning or locking up at night. Traditional security systems only take action after someone has already broken in, and by then it's too late. I mean, especially if your loved ones are at home. Simply Safe's Active Guard outdoor protection can help prevent break-ins before they happen. AI-powered cameras backed by live professional monitoring agents monitor your property and detect suspicious activity. Monitoring plans start at a very affordable $1 a month. It's around $1 a month, which is such a small amount to pay for peace of mind and security for your family. It's Simply Safe, right, Dawson?
You can get 50% off your new Simply Safe system with professional monitoring and your first month free at simplysafe.com/Adam. Just head to simplysafe.com/Adam to claim your discount and make sure your home is safe this year. Keep your home, your family, and your peace of mind protected with Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
O'Reilly. Love these guys. You know the song. Oh, O'Reilly. Auto parts. Ends big. That's why I like big crescendo. They can keep your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offers friendly, helpful service and the parts and knowledge that people need to maintain and do your repairs. Always used O'Reilly. I think I'm wearing their hat right now. Yes, I am. Used to go to the one, I think it was off of Laurel in North Hollywood, and then I moved and I went to the one off of Foothill in La Cañada. So whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, You're going to find at O'Reilly, they got employees who are knowledgeable and helpful, and best off, they are friendly. So let's keep that car on the road and hit O'Reilly's. Stop by O'Reilly's Auto Parts today, or you can visit them. Come visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
In 5th grade, both in Michigan and in Seattle, you have to teach sex ed, okay? But when I moved to Seattle, they told me that I had to teach it to the boys and the girls at the same time. And I had to teach them about all of it. And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not will I do this, okay? Because you and I both know that this is a setup, that this is immoral, and that personally I'm only familiar with 50% of the material.
Joe Dombrowski is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Joe from the classroom to the stage. Good to see him.
Yeah.
Joe's got dates coming up. He's also got a monthly show over at the Belly Room over at the Comedy Store. I love the Belly Room. Very intimate. Very nice. My Straight Friends, it's once a month over there. Also shows on the road as well. And you can go to Joe Dombrowski. It's long, but it's phonetic.com if you want to get all those dates. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What did you, so what subjects did you teach? Oh, you can turn the mic a little bit.
Oh, get ready for this.
There you go.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, I taught everything kindergarten to 5th grade, and it was insane.
Are in kindergarten, are you mostly just sort of a wrangler at that point, or are you actually able to impart things to them?
No, you're imparting, but like I think the main thing is I'm not teaching them anything other than just how to school. How to function in school, how to behave and do all that. Other than that, it's out the window. Because in kindergarten, you could have a plan, and it's never going to go according to that plan. Like a bird hits the window, and your day is lost.
Right.
So yeah.
I was thinking back on some of my old teachers the other day, and like growing up out here, school was very institutional. You know, every school I went to was built in the 20s or the 30s. It was essentially a box. It had thick screen on the outside, like so people couldn't get out or get in, you know, and the palette was all like gray and flesh color and weird sort of light avocado. Like everything they did was institutional. Like it wouldn't look any different than a prison or an insane asylum.
Right. I thought you were going to tell me your school was one room with a bell on top.
No, that was a little house on the prairie.
Right. No, but the funniest thing is my very first year teaching, I went in there and talk about underfunded. Like there's no money to do this. It was like 4 desks and a couple pencils, and I had to fund the rest myself. But
where was
this? This is just outside of Detroit, Michigan.
Oh boy.
And the books that they gave me were books that I was using to teach when I was in elementary school. I'm like, I don't think this is adding up. I think some things have changed.
Yeah.
But you got to make the best of it.
Yeah, I didn't really. I was kind of warehoused, but it was also understood. Like we had a kind of tacit agreement, which is like, I'll show up. You won't have to come looking for me, but don't expect me to do anything. And they're like, yeah, okay, we got it. And so it was like a thing where I would punch in and sit down and not really do anything, but all they needed was for me to be there so they could get the money
and the numbers.
That's
real. That's still real.
And they kind of left me alone, and I left them alone. And then to make things even worse, my school, North Hollywood High, they start these, I don't know what they call them euphemistically, but chartery things or something, but they had Amelia Earhart. So what they do is they take a corner of the school, they put a trailer on it, they put a fence around it, and they're like, look, you fuck-ups who can't even handle North Hollywood High, the rigors academically of North Hollywood High, which is close to zero. You students who can't make it through the day without smoking, we will create another school called Amelia Earhart. And for that school, all you need to do is show up, call your teachers by their first name, and sit around and smoke on a coffee table over there.
Hill.
And if you want to get up and walk to Jack in the Box, go ahead. You don't have to check out. You don't have to do anything. But we will call roll, and you will be here.
That's still real. Let me ask you this: class clown or no?
I was. Yes, I was class clown.
You too? Yes. Okay. Him, yes.
Yeah.
Were you class clown?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, you
and
were?
I was just bring the ruckus, getting a brawl all the time, just whatever. Just having funsies.
Were you? Well, you did stand up when you were like in the third grade,
I did
right?
stand up in third grade for my third grade talent show. And the craziest part about it is my elementary teachers will sometimes pop into my shows now. No one's surprised.
Really?
Nobody's surprised or shocked.
I didn't have the guts to do formal stand-up at that age.
Well, all my jokes were stolen from a magician.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had a magician at my first communion after party because we're Polish, so you need to keep drinking after drinking.
Yeah.
And I remember all of his jokes were making me laugh, and I just remembered them all verbatim.
Really?
He remembered every single one of them. I made my mom bring out my suit for my first communion so I could wear it on stage. Because this is the 90s, too. Like, stand-up was still, like, super, super formal.
Yeah.
And I went up there in my suit and stole all this magician's work and
little baby Joe Rogan jumped out of the crowd and yelled at you?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
And it worked.
And then we grappled. Yep, it worked.
Did you win the talent show?
So there wasn't winning.
Oh, there's just everyone was out there.
But if we're going to be real, was I the best one? Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing a really young person do stand-up is sort of fun and novel in and of itself.
It was sick, though, too. Like, I grew up in a stand-up family, so I was exposed to a lot. I remember singing the Man Show intro song with my friends, like in school.
Wow. I remember writing the Man Show intro song. Yeah. I was sitting at a desk, and Jimmy was like sitting at that desk, and we just started writing it. Yeah. But anyway,
lots of stand-up. I was exposed to it, and I'll never forget watching very specific people do very specific things and being like, I can do that. Like Ellen DeGeneres has this very specific joke where she's using her claw to go up and grab toilet paper that was stuck in the thing. And I was like, I can see what she's doing, but there's nothing there. And everybody's laughing at this. And I do that in school. So like, can somebody pay me for this?
So you grew up, you say, in a stand-up family, but what's that mean?
Oh, we were just consuming it all the time.
Everyone in your family?
I'm the only comedian, yes, but we were watching lots and lots of
because, like, if I said I grew up in a logging family, and you said, what's that mean? I said, we watched a lot of loggers. You would be confused. You'd think I was loggers. Consumption family.
Lots of stand-up consumption.
Well, that's, let's philosophically break that down.
Yeah.
It's good because it means that you have a mutual interest and your dad has a love and your mom has a passion or whatever, and it's like expressed and exposed to you. But it's also a mindset, which is I want to laugh. Like my mom didn't watch comedy or like comedy or watch stand-up, but because she was depressed and wanted to kind of waller in her misery all the time. So it wasn't like she didn't like stand-up. It's like saying, well, my parents didn't like eating out or something. It's really what they're kind of saying is they didn't like being social with people and enjoying themselves. You know what I mean? It's not about pork chops. It's kind of about the mindset, right? Because like when I think, like you think about somebody you just adore and you go, oh, we should get a steak and a martini, and you get it on the calendar. And you're not really so much thinking about the steak. You're thinking about, I get to sit with that person and have a martini and have a great conversation, So it's like your parents must have been sort of joyous, I guess, if they liked stand-up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the thing, too.
I think it's the same with roller skating, by the way. People love roller skating. They're like, that's just that's not a person that likes being on wheels. They're saying, I enjoy shit.
Absolutely. But we they loved it, and I was in such a social family too. Like we were hosting a lot. Like my parents, the full bar. People were always at our house hanging out. And then on the weekdays, we're watching Roseanne, we're watching Home Improvement. Like we're just consuming a lot of comedians, and still in this very like happy environment. So when I wanted to do it at first, they were not okay with it.
They weren't.
Because they didn't want this like struggling artist narrative, right? Which is actually how I went into teaching, because I wanted to find something else that I really like and pursue a degree in that, as they wanted me to have that first. But I was always doing stand-up on the side because teachers are, poor people. So I needed to put gas in my car for real. So I'm doing $20 spots, $50 spots, just to be able to do that. And then eventually it blew up to the point where I could, live the dream and actually leave and do it. And then they were like, go for it. And now they're my biggest fans.
Man, I really love your family.
They're cool. They're cool. They're cool.
What did they do?
My mom is a nurse. And my dad is a retired civil engineer for an Air Force base. And now he is the church maintenance man.
Is a civil engineer for an Air Force base mean he's in the Air Force?
No, he was actually in the Navy. And also, I think the term engineer in that title was generous.
I
think he...
Like he's a sanitation engineer. Bob, someone shit up the toilet real big. Go over there.
Right. He's gonna
get your plunger, engineer.
Yeah.
Engineer that shit out of the main drain, would you?
I never saw blueprints laying around the house or anything like that. So I think that tells you what you need to know.
So your dad was just like a blue-collar dude.
They both were, yeah.
And you're, in a weird way. I mean, I guess they don't count. You don't think of nurse as a blue collar job, but it really is real boots on the ground kind of job. Like,
for sure.
I could not do that job at all. But traditionally, pretty good pay.
And my mom was a hustler too, and she worked her way up from like the floor, like being a receptionist to nurse to moving up to the point where she ended up working HR for the hospital, and then did this cool thing called nepotism and hired me at the hospital after I graduated, which was probably the biggest mistake.
Is now the dynamic between your mom and your dad, because your mom is making more loot than your dad is per month.
I mean, is this the first time I'm realizing that?
Maybe yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, look, I mean, I can't say for certain, but I will say engineer in quotes on a Air Force base, like maintenance guy. It's not buku bucks.
Right.
I'm thinking, we got to adjust it for inflation and stuff like that. But, your dad's making $40,000 a year and your mom's making $70,000 a year, like as a nurse. Like nurses, it's a high paying job for someone who doesn't have like an advanced degree or something.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that your mom made more than your dad. And so it's almost for certain if your dad is doing the job you're describing and your mom is doing the job you're describing. But now here's the question. How did the power at the home break down?
In terms of parenting or just period?
Just kind of like when your mom would go, like you'd be going out to dinner.
Yeah.
And your dad would go, I think we get Mexican tonight. And your mom goes, I'm in the mood for Italian.
Yeah, no.
Where did you go?
You give me what you think your answer is.
Here's what I think. I think
this is my podcast now.
I think when it's close, you can, in terms of earning. See, I have a theory. My theory is people go, I don't think most men could handle it if their woman made a ton of money and they didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could handle that part of it. But the part I couldn't handle is them waving it and holding it over me, which as a man, you're not allowed to do.
Yeah.
As a man, you could make $5 million a year. Your wife could make $0 and then have a huge argument over where you were going to eat that night.
Yeah.
But I think if the woman made $5 million and the guy fucking made $0, you just eat where she wanted to eat.
Yeah.
And it's also, if she wanted to go to Hawaii for a vacation, you wanted to go to Mexico, at a certain point you go, I'm buying the tickets, bitch.
Yeah.
So we're going to Hawaii.
That didn't happen.
That would happen if there's a big disparity.
Right. I don't think the disparity was that big, though, because it was still very, I had a very Midwestern suburban upbringing where it was still, like, my dad's house. Like, it was just, we we're doing that where he's deciding what's for dinner, like we're eating it, we're getting up and leaving. Like it was very much that
so
was
your
the
mom
dynamic.
Brought home the bacon and fried it up in the pan.
I guess so.
That's interesting.
I guess so. Yeah.
Is she an immigrant or of that ilk? Old school Polish or something?
No, that's the funniest thing too. I'm actually half Italian. She's super Italian. And let me tell you what, this woman is like she might as well be a mob wife at this point. Like she is the number one saying of my mom is, if you fuck with me, you're dead to me. You're dead to her. Like there is not such thing as second chances in her life.
Wow.
And I think now, I've never dissected my parents' family dynamic this much in my adult life, but looking back at it now, I was like, I wonder what happened behind the scenes. Holy shit, that explains all the broken dishes.
Her maiden name is Corleone.
Yeah, no, for real. There was horse heads in a lot of our beds.
So they didn't want you to do comedy because they were worried that you wouldn't be able to, wouldn't make a career of it. Which, look, it's a low percentage job. So I get parents who
I do too,
who do that, and also there's other low percentage jobs where your 8-year-old could go, one day I'm going to play shortstop for the Yankees, Dad, and you go, yes you are, my boy, yes you are, and then you'd leave it alone because he's going to wash out in the 10th grade. Right. You don't need to intervene. Society will fucking cut him off the junior varsity team and he'll go on to something else. Right. But comedian or country singer, that shit can go on into your 60s.
Yeah,
and you can still be a loser because we know a lot of those people.
And then still, I just was in your lobby. There was a picture of you selling out the Moore Theater. I just sold out the Moore Theater.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and
that's big place.
Well, that is the thing too. I can sell out the Moore Theater, which is 2,000 seats in Seattle, and I'll still walk away and be like, no one fucking knows me. This is over tomorrow. You know what I mean? And that's
the life, buddy.
That's the conversation I don't have with my parents. They'll be like, oh shit, could this be over for him tomorrow? Maybe go back to teaching. It's like, I think they'll do it all right. I think.
Wow, the Moore Theater. It's a great venue.
Yeah,
it's in Seattle. It's 2,000 seats, and it's where Even Flow from Pearl Jam was shot.
Yeah.
And he's climbed up on the balcony and everything. And if you stand on stage, you'll see the balcony and the pipes and the whole same thing. And it's kind of cool.
It is really cool. And it was cool when I first moved to Seattle. I lived across the street from it and wasn't at that point in my career comedically yet. And then being able to play it, look outside the window and be like, I lived there and now I'm doing this. That was a highlight. That was very cool.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, for me, I went and somehow did 6 shows in 2 days at Kirkland, Washington, at a place that used to be like a Domino's Pizza or something. and the first show would sell out, and they'd add another show, and that show would sell out, they had another show. But before you know it, it was like 6 hours of comedy each night. And so I remember thinking to myself, oh, look, we just sold like 1,500 or 1,800 seats, but I had to do like 6 shows. And then I announced, I said, next time we come back, we do we do 1 show for the same amount of people, but I only have to do 1 instead of 6. So that was like my MacArthur returning to the Philippines story.
That's
but
cool.
Living across from the Moors, like the Moors sort of nondescript from the outside. It doesn't look like much. It's kind of like on the corner, and I don't know, the neighborhood's not fantastic.
It's Seattle.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But it's not what you're picturing, like the Emerald City.
No, not at all.
Part of it.
Not at all. But that was really interesting too, because you're right. It does not catch your eye when you go past it. And then you go in and it's just beautiful with that beautiful high ceiling and all the artwork up there. And seeing so much comedy there and then doing it was
you saw
wild.
A lot of comedy.
Oh,
there.
Yeah.
Well, that's a better and different experience, for an individual, because I'd never seen anything there.
Yeah, that was, I think I saw Kathleen Madigan there the month before I did it and then knew that my show had already sold out. And I was like,
yeah.
I get a lot of, sometimes it's hard for me to realize where I'm at in comedy. Did you have that when you were like at sort of a breaking point? Sometimes it's hard for me to still wrap my head around. Like I'll go to the store and everyone will be like, dude, you're doing it. And I'm like, am I doing it? It's wild. It's a wild feeling.
I don't know, with the internet and tweets and all the stuff we have in Facebook and all that now, it adds another dimension to it.
Mm-hmm.
When I was coming up, you were either on TV or you weren't on TV, and if you were on TV, you're doing okay. And if you weren't, you probably wanted to be on TV, but it wasn't. It was a little more defined. Like you knew who people were because if you have a TV show. And then if you didn't have a TV show, then you're only so famous because you didn't have a TV show, you know?
Now it's fragmented into like 1,000 social medias. Like I saw you on YouTube, but you also Instagram, TikTok, everything, so you could be famous on one. And I don't watch TikTok that much, so I don't know who the hell this guy is.
Yeah.
But then, Instagram guy, I know that guy. It's just how it goes.
That's
and then
real.
the Facebook people, who the hell are they?
That's Ron and Fran Dombrowski.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't know. I didn't pay that much attention to anything. I wanted money and I wanted to build stuff.
Cool.
So I was in show business, during the day or at night or something. But every other moment I had, I was in a Home Depot with folks that didn't know and didn't care. And then I would work with those people. So I was very immersed in building and in cars and stuff like that. So I wasn't really, hanging around at Dan Tana's with the writers, having martinis. I'd tape a TV show and then just go right to Home Depot and stuff. So I didn't really live that life. I didn't have lots of friends that were Hollywood types, I wasn't part of the scene per se.
Yeah.
But I recognized I would, people stop me at airports and say hi, but that was a byproduct of being on two TV shows simultaneously, you know? And I would say, they go, is it weird when I go, no, when you're on TV, that's what happens. People stop and go, hey, man. And that's how it works that's because you're on TV. That's how it would work.
Yep.
But if you were a lawyer who had a billboard everywhere in town that said, 1-800-FIGHT-FOR-YOU or no cuffs or something, you'd also get stopped at an airport and go, hey, it's the lawyer guy.
True.
Well, where do you develop most of your fandom from?
Oh, so when it started to really pop for me, when I was able to take my stuff out of the Detroit area, it was because I made a very active switch to start just talking about what happened in the classroom. So I was telling these stories of the kids and like the wild shit that they would say to me, and it was just resonating because I was realizing that people are laughing because they have a kid or they were a kid. Most of them went to school. This is just very universal material that I'm doing, and that allowed me to go out. So then people would quickly be like, you're the teacher comedian, which would grind my gears though, because I had so much banked material that I wanted to let out about like all this other stuff in my life, but I'm like, this teacher shit's working.
That's your hook.
Let's do it. So I rode that wave for a very, very, very long time. And now the material that I'm like, the teacher core line will always be the through line of what I'm doing. And I'll always bring it up from time to time. There's just so much more that I talk about on stage that I think people are caught pleasantly off guard when they come to a show, right?
It's an interesting perspective because not everybody was been a kindergarten teacher.
That's true, or a sassy gay one at that. So yeah.
Wow, Joe Dombrowski is the least gay name I've ever heard in my life.
It was
sound like a linebacker to me.
To this. It was almost Dominic Dombrowski, and I'm like, you guys missed it.
No, that's good. Yeah, that's super gay.
That's either Dom. That's like a football player or a porn star. Either way, I'm into it.
Why not both?
Right.
That is I don't know how gay names work, but like Tommy Toon, that's a gay name. Joe Dombrowski's it's the least likely gay name on the planet.
It's so Polish.
It's the Joe because you got Joe Sixpack, I guess, or Joe something, Joe the plumber. Like I don't know. The Joe makes it,
alarmingly heterosexual.
And the Dombrowski, it just sounds like you sit around
smoking cigars and
Joe Kilbasa.
Yeah, it's like
oh yeah, now we're
yeah, it's like you sit around cooking brats all day with beer,
and you drink Milwaukee's best.
Yeah, Milwaukee's
no, we
best.
drink Stroh's. It's Detroit. Let's be real.
Oh, I thought you had
But
a
you
cheese
take
hat
a
on.
draw off your Stroh's tall boy, and then you dump some of it in with the bratwurst, and then you take another draw off
Okay,
it.
nostalgia. Bratwurst beer liquid was pretty much in my blood.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Also,
Shout out
it's the
Kowalski's if you want
name-
to sponsor me.
It's a name it's a name that a foreman would yell out.
Yeah.
Dombrowski, get back on those
Yeah.
I-beams and quit flapping your jaw.
You want to hear some
It's
shit?
the straightest name ever.
Never heard this last name. Like I never run into other Dombrowskis or anything like that. A woman came to one of my shows in New York and was like, "Hey, this was great, but I thought you were Kevin Dombrowski." I'm like, "Who the fuck's Kevin?
Yeah.
Kevin Dombrowski?" I look up Kevin Dombrowski. He's like all over at the Cellar, like doing all this shit. And we start chit chatting, talking to each other. We become friends. I'm like, "You guys want to like go on the road together, do this Dombrowski shit?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yes." So now he'll open for me every once in a while. We tell people we're cousins, like do the whole thing. Never met another Dombrowski till that.
Sick.
Kevin Dombrowski.
Great guy, hilarious comic.
Hey, the Sklar brothers are doing pretty good. They're pretty funny.
I think they're the real deal, though.
I don't
Jury's
know.
out. Jury's out.
Give him a couple shots.
Yeah, we need a
and talk to
23 of
these
me.
guys. All right, you got some news
I do.
there, Mayhem
I
and
have
Joe.
some
We'll
news.
hang out. We'll crack wise as we hear it.
Oh, take a break or we're coming right into
I
it?
think we're going right
All right,
into
we're
it.
coming in hot. Hey, HBO's John Oliver faces a lawsuit from a health insurance executive over a Medicaid monologue. I think we have it right here, the part in question.
I've never met John Oliver.
No, me neither.
He's funny. He's interesting. I think a little English accent gives you a little bit of gravitas.
Right. Doesn't it, though?
You get away with the...
Yeah.
Look, there's a reason why every sci-fi movie in outer space 1,000 years from now, they have a little bit of an English accent. What they're saying is we're a little bit smarter.
Yeah.
They don't sound like Cardi B.
Right.
Right?
10% intelligence on
Yeah.
that.
When you hear a doctor at AmeriHealth, the MCO that took over in Iowa, explaining in a hearing about a similar patient just what the corporate thinking was about the necessity of keeping people clean.
People have bowel movements every day where they don't completely clean themselves, and we don't fuss over too much. People are allowed to be dirty. I would allow him to be a little dirty for a couple days.
Your fucking mom would throw a shit fit.
I'm
I'll be
about
honest,
to.
when I first
My
heard that, I
bedside
thought that
manner's better
has to
than
be
this.
taken out of context. There is no way a doctor, a licensed physician, would testify in a hearing that he thinks it's okay if people have shit on them for days. So we got the full hearing. I'm not going to play it for you. I'm just going to tell you, he said it, he meant it, and it made me want to punch a hole in the wall.
Yeah, so he's alleging that they did take it out of context and that there's false accusation.
This is the
designed to spark
nursing.
It's not
outrage.
false.
Yeah.
And listen, the part of the nursing that I could not deal with was the cleanup part. Now, I'm not saying your mom had to do that, but at some phase along the way, there is some cleaning up to do.
It's not the nursing. It's being straight. Like, you guys don't know how to clean your ass. Like, it's just, he said that, and I'm like, this is a straight person who doesn't know how to clean their ass and doesn't care.
Well, it's not imperative that we clean our ass, where if you're gay, it's a
And this
big
is why.
part of your life.
And this is why. To any gay guys who are listening to this podcast, all two of you, do not hook up with straight men, because you're going to go back there and you're going to be met with somebody who probably was in that trial.
Well, let me say this. What is protocol for ass cleaning?
Why don't we flip this? Tell me how you clean your ass.
I'll tell you what I like to do.
Oh, shit.
I'm not a big moist towelette guy. I did many years ago, Jimmy Kimmel got burned badly, spiritually and physically, because there were those Clorox wipes, that were like on the toilet, whatever. But look, you put them in that weird pouch with the snap cap that no one does. It's white. It's got white and blue. It looks pretty good. You can reach it from the toilet. You're reading you're looking at your phone. He just reached for the Clorox, man, and fucking heard him screaming coming out of the bathroom.
Oh, my God. You might as well smoke a new part through your asshole. That's insane.
So is he cleaning up for sex, though?
What I Jimmy, always ready. Always ready. What I like, if I can time it, I like to time the shower with the shit. I like to get up in the morning, have my cup of coffee, do my business. Every morning I do a freezing cold shower. I just cold water, shower, run. I don't have my cold tub. I don't have a swimming pool. I've been displaced from Malibu, so I do the cold valley shower. But the plan is for me, hit the toilet, then hit the shower and clean up, because you're never going to do better than the shower.
Well, I'll do you one better. Do a juice cleanse for 3 days and a colonic, and then I'm ready.
A colonic. I do have to say, you guys surprised me. Congratulations. And I think
well, hold on. I'm not prepping for anal rape.
Well, you did. You are, regardless, moving higher on the Kinsey scale the more you talk.
Okay.
So this is fantastic. And a colonic. Look at you, girl.
I just know the strategy. I know what you guys are up to over there, West Hollywood. I know what you do after you go to the Comedy Store.
Oh, look at that. You drag me out to Glendale.
So, yeah, but when I can't hit a shower, after dropping a deuce, I'll do it until I don't see anything left on the paper, and then I move on.
How
with
are
my
you not
life.
on the Toto toilet, man? You push the button and get your butthole
I
waxed.
am displaced.
You're at least bisexual.
Yeah.
This is insane.
No, I love it, Toto.
I
dragging
knew.
me out to
I thought that was you on
You're dragging me
Sibby's.
to the after hours right now, bud.
What do you know about after hours? This is insane. Do you have
What
gay
do you
friends?
know?
You got a bunch of gay friends,
Yeah,
don't
I've
you?
had gay friends. To me, I'm like, I know you guys' strategies. They all try to bang me too. I'm like,
Excuse me,
whoa,
don't
whoa.
let our secrets out like this.
All right, I'll just lay it. Yeah.
This is a lot. I wasn't
Listen,
expecting this.
I have the Toto seat.
Yeah.
But I'm displaced.
But you don't. Oh, you're right.
I can't
I
take
forgot.
my toilet seat.
Sorry, Coach.
I lived in Malibu. I'm not able to return to my seat.
You could have went and grabbed it when you were there. I would have grabbed it. This is a nice piece of equipment.
Well,
That's wild.
Hold on. It requires a water source and a power source.
You're right.
And when you look at houses built in the 80s, look by the toilet. There's no fucking outlet
You're right.
underneath the toilet. You have to punch a hole, pull a wire. You got to heat up that thing. I mean, get it. When I say heat it up, I mean electrically get power to it. You know what I mean? There's no old houses that have outlets by the toilet. Who's vacuuming by
Running
toilet?
an extension cord all through the house.
I just want you two to know, I don't even have one of these.
You don't. It's a game changer.
It is.
I mean, I'm.
It really is game
The level of
changer. It's like a
jealousy.
shower. It's like a shower that you just stroll right out after. Nothing happened.
I'm so surprised that I can't wait to see you guys at Pride.
I went, the first time I ever came upon that was at the Riga Royal Hotel in like 2000 in New York City. I sat down on that toilet in my room. I was like, what is this? A picture of a seal with a ball on his nose and water splash?
I had the same experience in Japan.
What is going on around here?
Yeah.
I called Jimmy in his room. I was like, hey, man, do you have one of these? I go, yeah. I go, I don't, what goes on here? So all right, I'm going to start, I hope one of these buttons isn't an ejector seat. I'm going to start pushing buttons. I start pushing buttons, hitting the ass. So Jimmy then bought me a toilet. He bought me a Toto toilet. Boy, it really sounds gay with Jimmy, but he bought me a Toto toilet seat.
They're on the phone together pushing the button.
God, this is how addiction
One,
starts.
two,
This is
three.
beautiful.
Listen,
Wow.
without getting too intimate in the gay world.
Please do.
Too late.
I come from a lot of theater and sketch comedy in LA, so I knew my fair share of
Theater?
of bros. I did Acme and Groundlings and stuff like that. We did a lot of improv and sketch. But I mean, if you think about it, sketch is kind of theater because you hand out scripts, everyone memorizes it, puts a costume on, do a character. And I was surprised that a lot of gay dudes aren't into backdoor stuff. Like I knew gay dudes that's like, I just blow dudes or I get blown. Like that's how we roll. I don't do other stuff, or they pick a lane or they have a lane. Does that make any sense at all? Or maybe that was just my buddy Mark from the Acme Theater. Or maybe he just wanted a blowjob. Maybe you want me to jump into the deep end.
I don't know what the fuck, who gay guys you're hanging out with, but this is 2025, baby.
Yeah.
This is not that.
All the gay guys you know are into everything.
I can't even
Everything's on the
look
menu.
at you, ma'am. This is a lot.
It's all on the table.
It's all on the table.
Top, bottom.
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead.
God. I'm going to get roasted.
Well, he's going to educate us
Do y'all
today.
know what sniffies is?
No. Wait,
Do y'all know what
poppers?
sniffies is?
Amyl nitrate.
You're gay.
Yeah, I'm gay.
You are a homosexual.
Listen, I know that you guys are into all kinds
You
of dirt
guys!
bags.
I don't
Well, I
walk
know
in here
that
wearing a construction hat appropriating your culture, ma'am. So I don't think we're going to start this game like that. I will pull out a Ouija board. We'll call Harvey Milk to the table.
Said too much.
Harvey Milk. At least get Sean Penn in there.
Yeah.
They were called poppers, not sniffies, to be fair to
Oh
the
my
straight
God.
man.
Okay, now you've redeemed
reinvented
yourself.
old
You're
stuff.
back. You're back to being straight. No, okay. So do you know what poppers are?
Amyl nitrate.
Amyl nitrate. Do you know what it's for?
Yeah. Well, you right when you come, you pop it, or what do you do? I don't know how it goes.
Honestly, the way we're building bridges together right now
You are.
is truly exceptional. I cannot wait for you to be the Grand
Are
Marshal
they
of
still
WeHo Pride.
Are they still popular?
Yeah. Oh,
They've come back.
they're popular, but the current administration is taking them away and shutting down the poppers factory.
Okay, let me figure out the poppers for a second. So they've come back like gin has.
No, they've always been there. You just didn't know about it.
They've been going straight through.
Yeah.
Always pop. Because things like rye whiskey, when I was in the 80s, nobody asked for rye whiskey or an old fashioned or something. It was all gone. And then at some point, rye whiskey got popular again, and old fashions came back, and gin came back. So there's an ebb and a flow with stuff. Now, they have nitrous oxide. And nitrous oxide, you could steal a big tank from the hospitals. Some of my friends did back in the day. Or you could get the cartridges. The cartridges are propellant for like working on industrial size whipped cream containers and stuff, but you can do whippets. Right. Off of, So there's a kind of above board legal version of nitrous that you can get. But amyl poppers, what is the application? Because it's not used in catering.
It's in catering?
I'm saying these cartridges are used for catering.
Right.
So what the hell is amyl nitrate for?
I don't know. I'm not Mr. Poppers, okay? Mary Poppers,
Well, listen,
if you will.
you're him here.
But it's amyl nitrates, whatever the hell that means, and you sniff it, and it allows your muscles to relax. Connect the dots. Here's the thing, though. Pretty sure it's safe to say it's not good for your brain. All right, let's get some CAT scans going over here, gay boys. And so now like the FDA is like, this shit's gonna stop. And
would you be able to buy them on the internet in the past?
God damn, I don't know. The biggest supplier has just recently had to be shut down, and that was all internet based.
What were they claiming the use was?
Oh,
yeah, I know.
What do you mean? Oh, I think like nail polish remover.
Oh, I see. Yeah. It's like I said, when I was a kid, I'd go to the hardware store in North Hollywood or the Army surplus store when I was like 10. And at the counter, there was a box of a white old school vibrator and a drawing of a chick holding it on her shoulder. Sweet relief, because you got to put something on the box.
It's that.
Something needs to be on the box.
Yeah.
It's not what anyone's doing with it, but we got a box.
It's that.
It's that, right? They're often packaged under the guise of room deodorizers, leather polish, nail polish remover,
or VCR
or
cleaner.
videotape head cleaner. But why do you have to pop them?
There's no popping. I don't know where the popping came from. Probably just from the
now
afterwards you could pop it in.
You give that a huff right at the moment of climax.
No. Before
to loosen things up.
The preparation.
Okay.
Oh, that's
I better
weird.
get the Congressional Medal of Freedom for
You're
the
right.
education we're doing today.
I thought you did it right when you're having an orgasm, but you're saying to loose. Yeah, that's interesting because I had a emergency room physician come over here to watch some fights.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, one
showed
guy
a
was a doctor.
picture on his phone.
Yeah.
A giant dildo.
Yes.
And he said,
yeah.
I had to pull this guy working that had pulled this out of a guy's ass. And I said, well, how did he get it? He said, got it with tongs or forceps. I go, how do you get the guy? He goes, you put him under. And I go, yeah, but even under. He goes, no, once you go under, you get pretty. Things relax. But that's a big-ass dildo we saw.
God, it was a nightmare.
That's because I worked in the hospital. That happened.
Oh, you did?
When my mom hired me. That shit happens all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I worked in X-ray in ER, and that would happen.
What's the weirdest thing you saw up there?
A Matchbox car.
Really?
Potatoes were commonplace. Potatoes are commonplace. Yeah.
Oh man, the Midwest.
I hope there were those like little purple ones,
Fingerlings?
not the big Yukon.
Well, you want to hear how I got fired from this job?
Yeah.
A male pelvic X-ray does show your full penis.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they take all the X-rays that aren't being used anymore, and they just keep them in a pile, and then I don't know, probably burn them or something like that. I thought it would be so funny to take all these male pelvic X-rays, remove the lampshade from the lamp in the workroom for all of my coworkers, and change it with male pelvic X-rays. Turns out, not funny for everyone.
It's funny.
I thought it was
funny.
It's great.
Yeah.
I think it's a HIPAA violation. Apparently.
Solid joke though.
That's
Something
good.
Like that. I thought.
Workplace
They weren't
humor
there.
is gone now because everyone's so uptight. They're suing everybody.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
There were no names on it, no social security numbers, just penis and bones.
Listen, you go in, so they say, when you go to one of these plastic surgeons and you want to get a boob reduction or a boob job or something like that, they got a whole catalog of boobs to show you.
I would hope so.
There's no names, but the guy's taking pictures of boobs and going, here's how it works. I'll get my hands on the before the reduction picture. But either way, they're showing around pictures of rando boobs.
Yeah,
that's part of the business.
Yeah, they get away with it. They sign away that right. Yeah.
Well, what about a cockshade? I don't get it. I had a Rams football shade in my room growing
Wouldn't
up.
that
What's
sell?
the difference?
A nice little morbid Etsy shop. Those things would fucking fly.
You're right.
So was there big to-do? Like someone go, who did this or who's responsible for this cockshade?
Yeah, they threw me under the bus quick.
Oh, really?
Real quick. And then I had to go down to HR and be fired by my mom.
Damn.
Now, did anyone know your status as a gay black belt?
As a gay black belt?
Just knowing everything about the gay lifestyle.
Did anyone know my status about this?
Back then.
Oh, yeah.
Because cocks, the dick lampshade coming from me is a different, it's a different message. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah.
I don't beat off to the lampshade.
He's never had a lampshade in his mouth. That's all he's saying.
That's what I'm saying. It could be like, Carolla, get the hell out of here.
All coming back to me now that people are like, this fucking...
This homo screwing around with random cock.
Jerking off to these dicks in the break room. This is amazing.
That's what happened. You should go back and sue that hospital. Sue them.
What's the statute of limitations on this shit? I'm about to get
I'll blow a call into Lena Dunham. She'll raise holy hell over there. Fellow comedian.
You're the wisest I've ever seen.
This is great. I didn't realize we were coming to church.
That's what happened. If you were straight, they wouldn't have fired you. Would have been an innocent joke.
That's so true.
They knew.
Well, the health insurance executive is suing Oliver. Yeah. And that's that. Yeah. Val Kilmer.
Oh.
Sorry. Ace, the Iceman is dead. Star of Top Gun, Doors, and several classic films.
All of them.
Died Tuesday in Los Angeles.
He was great. And listen, he should have gotten an Academy Award for Doors because he
did, yeah. He should have.
Should have. He was, he turned into Jim Morrison. He sung all the stuff. He looked like the guy. He grew a beard. He got fat. He did everything. Like he was Jim Morrison. I've said it once. I'll say it again. Portraying somebody that we all know, where we know what they look like, we know what they sound like, we know what they sing like we know what their mannerisms is. That is a much higher bar than playing, well, this guy was a cobbler from 1871 who turned out to avenge. It's like that could be anybody, and we'd never know who that guy was. the tallest order is becoming somebody. I mean, if you think what acting really is, and the fact that he didn't get the Academy Award for that is disappointing.
I don't know who did that year. That was whack. He was also.
Got to find out what year The Doors came out and who won. I've looked it up before.
Yeah,
it's usually always like you go, okay, but he should have got it.
Well, he went to Juilliard when he was 17, like the youngest guy in there, and played Hamlet, early in his career. Later on, Tombstone, True Romance, Heat, which is like my favorite one. That was a badass movie. It's a damn shame.
There's a really interesting doc on him that I watched not too long ago. And I can't remember what it's called. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it's on HBO. I don't know if it's Hulu or whatever. But there's a good doc on him and how he grew up and so on and so forth. Yeah. All right. Who won that year? That's what I'm asking. Not that The Doors was directed by Oliver Stone.
Yeah.
That I got. I'm just asking who won that year.
Yeah, I should mention that, he died of throat cancer.
Oh,
Compliment. He was a cigarette smoker. And, he had his cancer in remission, but now the pneumonia caught him. That's how
pneumonia always gets you, but it's always something
exactly.
at the beginning.
You're weakened by
Anthony Hopkins from Silence of the Lambs.
That's why. It was just a bad year.
Picture, too, I think, that year as well. 1990.
91, sorry.
91.
Yeah, but Hopkins was playing a fictional character and doing a great job. But we didn't have an A and a B,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think he sung all the Doors songs too, which
he
was
really nailed it.
Pretty good.
Did you see him in Wonderland as John Holmes?
Oh yeah, he was great in Wonderland.
He was really good in that. That's a great movie.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh, he wasn't even nominated.
Damn.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
All right.
I liked him as Batman.
Yeah, Wonderland was a true story and an interesting story. And so he played John Holmes, and he also played Jim Morrison. Okay. Yeah, he was great.
All right, well, you'd like to know this. The Malibu home that Kanye West destroyed and abandoned is getting a new owner in an all-cash deal. Yeah, someone's paying cash for Kanye West's gutted beachfront bunker.
So he buys this house on PCH, and we got to look it up.
He bought it for $57.25 million.
We got to look it up and see what it's next to, because I walk that all the time. I've been there a million times. By the way, my latest vlog, my video log, is up on this, where we walk through Malibu and talk to the Army Corps of Engineers and stuff like that. If you guys want to check it out, it's pretty informative. But he bought this place, and I don't know if stuff around him burned or not. It's catch as catch can when you go down PCH. This is burnt, that's not burnt. They string together like 10 houses untouched, and then 20 houses are burnt, and then 5 houses are good, and then 30 houses are burnt. Like It's a weird run with no rhyme or reason. You couldn't go, he's in the part that didn't burn, because there are parts within the part that didn't burn that are burnt. So he buys his house for like 57.
Yeah, 57, and then they snapped it up for $21 million.
21.
And now they listed the half-restored home for $39 million.
Huh.
So it's a quick turnover, and the exact amount has not been disclosed, but Mazzella confirmed to the Journal that the contract price was between $30 million and $34.
I don't know. If we're being real, not that cute of a house.
Well, he did destroy it, gut completely. He was planning on making it a beachfront bunker. That's what he
gave
said.
bunker.
Yeah,
it felt very bunker.
It did.
Yeah, I mean, it's all sort of poured in place concrete.
Yeah.
And you'd have to get in there and finish it.
It's weird that something that's just like a parking lot can be $19 million.
For real.
It's not $19 million, it's
$34 million.
They snapped it up. Oh, I'm sorry, $21 million. Yeah.
No, he
paid $57 million.
Then
Correct.
he sold it for 21.
Yes.
Now he's selling it for.
Now they're selling it for 39.
39 is what they're asking for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wild.
it is wild. And like I said, I don't know. Can you guys figure out the address of this place? It's not listed.
Yeah.
So I walked that area a lot when I used to live there, and I could kind of see where it was. First off, these lots are miniature.
Yeah.
These lots are like 35 or 40 feet wide, which is not a big lot. And they basically just go from PCH to sort of the ocean. Mm-hmm. But they're just super narrow. This isn't a double lot. And all those houses that burned down were all 25, 30 million bucks too. Now, this one, you should just leave it how it is because it could never burn down now because it's basically just a parking
Well, there's nothing
structure.
to burn.
There's nothing to burn. But if the concrete gets torched, they'll still deem it as irreparable and tear it down. As I learned from my last trip to Malibu when I was talking to the Army Corps of Engineers guy, they were trucking in all the burnt cement, and then they were pulverizing it, and then they were pulling all the rebar out of it, and they were putting it on a conveyor belt. Oh, here it is.
Is it because the temperature gets so high that the concrete is now unstable? Is that what they told you?
So here's how it works. The burning of it degrades it.
Yeah.
But not necessarily if there was a fire and there was like a retaining wall and it wasn't actually in the fire. So then what they have to do is test it. And the way you test concrete is you get a core sample. You literally core a piece of it out. You take it to some lab. The lab has a crusher, and it goes, if it's good for 10,000 PSI, then it's still good. But if it crushes at 7,000 PSI, then it's been compromised. So you get core samples. You take it to a lab. They test the concrete, and then we'll decide whether you can keep it or not. I mean, I'm kind of, maybe I'm an expert. I might possibly be an expert.
In this room, you're
I'm not a concrete testing expert, but I've been around where they go, we got to get a core sample. They'll get a core sample just to make sure the driveway, if they poured a landing strip at LAX.
Yeah.
Now, landing strip is not your driveway. Your driveway is 4 inches, maybe
How
6
do you know
inches.
all this shit?
That should be a contract.
Yes.
But a landing strip at LAX has got to be like 16 inches or something because the fully loaded jumbo jets are landing on this thing. So if you built a landing strip, a new landing strip at LAX, at some point when they were done, some engineer would get a core sample, make sure you got the right PSI, you used the right concrete, and it wasn't degraded or whatever, and test it. It would be part of signing off on it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Steve Hilton is here. Joe's got a hard out. That should be the name of your next special.
You like that, boys?
That should be the name of the next special.
You're producing it, so sounds good.
I'm producing it. I might drink so much at the after party, I put the dick lampshade on my head.
Hey, now we're talking. That's with the credits. They're running over that picture.
Get the
Joe Dombrowski, everyone, my straight friends, monthly over the Comedy Store and the podcast, the social studies podcast as well. And he's got live shows at joedombrowski.com. That's where you go as well. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
We'll talk to Steve Hilton right after this. Rough greens. Sometimes in life, if you want to get to the truth, you got to look at the numbers, crunch those numbers. Naturopathic doctor Dennis Black, creator of Rough Greens, who I spoke to at length on the phone, a smart guy, interesting history, and passionate about health and the health of your dog. Well, he tells us 50% of dogs over 10 years old are going to die of cancer, and it's widely attributed to the dog's diet. And there's some good news out there, though. Thousands of testimonials and 5-star reviews every month. Rough Greens is now the #1 all-natural dog supplement in America. And you don't have to change your dog's food, which can be a hassle and expensive and whatever else. You can improve your dog's health by just sprinkling a scoop of Rough Greens on it every day. I started doing it with Phil. I can tell the difference in energy and coat and breath and stool and everything else. Rough Greens, because you care about your dog, right, Dawson?
Fetch a free Jumpstart trial bag for your dog today. Go to roughgreens.com. Just use promo code ADAM. That's RUFF greens.com and use promo code ADAM and just cover shipping. You don't have to change your dog's food to improve your dog's health. Just add a scoop of Rough Greens. Adam Carolla's on the road. San Diego, April 11th and 12th at the American Comedy Club. Port Charlotte, Florida, May 2nd and 3rd at Vasani's Italian Steakhouse and Comedy Theater. And Melbourne, Florida on May 4th at the Melbourne Auditorium. Get tickets for these shows and a whole lot more at adamcarolla.com. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace man, this is Jason from San Diego. There is no fucking way Gavin Newsom is having you on that podcast. He's the biggest pussy on the planet. Keep it real.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Steve Hilton is in studio. Steve, you may know from The Next Revolution, ran on Fox for quite a number of years. I was a guest on it a time or two. Studied philosophy and politics and economics at Oxford University. It's a fairly interesting and long storied career. CALIFAILURE, Reversing the Ruin of America's Worst Run State is his new book. It's available as we speak. You can get it at Steve Hilton. You can go to stevehiltonshow.com, but you can also just go to Amazon and wherever and get it. Exactly. Get it wherever you want. Yeah, you know, it's a weird and troubling conundrum. I guess, as a person that grew up in California and lived here and sees how it's run, and it is sort of displaced as we speak because I lived in Malibu and everything's burnt, you know, and all that. And and then you wake up and they go, oh, now sales tax is 11 cents now, and the money's going to the homeless. And you're like, what about the $24 billion that already went to the homeless, you know? And then they come out, gas prices. He blamed it on gouging, but it's not. It's just the way it's run. And then you and I are in there with Dr. Drew and Mark Garagos and stuff like people have lived here our whole life. It's not working the way you're doing it. What can we do? What's the plan? But furthermore, what quest are they on?
Yeah, great. All great questions. By the way, there's another person that Gavin Newsom won't have on his podcast, and that's me.
Right.
I've got a book out. It's all about California. Let's go and talk about it. You say you want people on the other side. He wouldn't have me on. Maybe he didn't want to discuss whether or not he agrees with the subtitle of CALIFAILURE, Reversing the Ruin of America's Worst Run State. But it is the worst run state. I mean, you just look at the numbers. But your question just now is actually what I really tried to answer in the first part of this book, which is why. Like, what is this about? Because it's not, people talk a lot about incompetence. It's not just incompetence. Of course, there's a lot of incompetence, but there's an ideology here. And they've taken this state and they've turned it into this ideological experiment. And it's been going on for years, and now we have the results, and it's a total disaster. And we can get into the examples of that. But what I was trying to answer, like, what is driving this? And so the first few chapters of the book are trying to unpack the ideology, because there's different components to it. There's elitism, there's narcissism, there's socialism, there's like the big government, bureaucratism, all this stuff. Climatism, like the climate cult. It's all combined to create this total failure on every front. You know, we are the state with the highest rate of poverty, the highest taxes, the highest housing costs, highest costs for everything, gas, electricity, water, highest in the country, the worst business climate, like everything. Everything is a disaster. There's nothing that's working well. Nothing.
Well, here's a metaphor that I use, and you're uniquely qualified to say it's spot on or way off. And there's two metaphors I use for California. One is the hot blonde in high school, which she doesn't have to study. She doesn't have to work as hard. Her phone is going to be ringing every Saturday night. She's going to be on a date. Like, she really doesn't need to put the work in, because look at her. And people don't care. They just see her, and they're all attracted to her, and they want to get in business with her, and they want to date her, and they want to be with her, you know? Well, at some point, that blonde turns 50, and it's like, you know what? The phone ain't ringing. She's got the crow's feet. She spent a little too much time in the bikini in the sun. Yeah. She's got a few liver spots now, and she's looking around. Now, she has no skills. Yes. She didn't study. The fat chick with the big nose, she's a lawyer. She went to school. Like, she learned early and often, I better work hard to attract men or to have a good life. The blonde is lazy, has no work ethic, and never studied in her life. And at some point, she's aged out. And we have aged out.
You got it. That's right. I mean, look, exactly. And people used to say, oh, well, people don't care. Well, fuck it, whatever. It's California, the weather, it's great. People are leaving now.
Yes.
They are leaving.
Yes.
In their hundreds of thousands, right? Again, another piece of data. For the first time in California's history, we've lost representation in the Congress because so many people are leaving. The projection is we'll lose another 3 or 4 next time. In the Electoral College, less weight for California because so many people are leaving. There's a ridiculous story I found. It's in the book. Maybe you've heard this one. There's an Orange County firefighter who's so expensive to live there. He loves his job. Moved the family to Tennessee. They've moved to Tennessee, but he loves his job. He's commuting.
Wow.
Because that somehow makes sense more than living in California.
Right.
So many people are leaving. And on the business front, that's the other thing. You hear Gavin Newsom trying to defend this. Like, one thing you hear from them over and over again is, well, we're the 5th biggest economy in the world. And that's true, just on the numbers, and that's great. I love California. I'm proud of that. Fantastic. We're great. But we've also got the highest poverty rate. And for most of last year, we were the highest rate of unemployment. Right. And now we're number 2. So the jobs aren't even there. And so they've been complacent about it, just like your analogy. So they think this is going to go on forever. But it's not, actually. Businesses are leaving, and I think we're on the brink of a real collapse, an economic collapse in California, because it just doesn't make sense to be here anymore, and there are better places. I was just in Texas. I was in Austin on Sunday and Dallas. And that's where it's booming, and people are moving. That used to be us.
Yeah, well, imagine this. I always say this. Carroll Shelby, famed race car builder, constructor, the name behind the Shelby Mustang and the Shelby Cobra, is from Texas, and he moved to Venice Beach, California to open his first shop in the 60s.
Right.
Could you imagine moving from Texas to Venice Beach, California to open a shop where you manufactured race cars?
I know. It's just, and that's so sad. Like I tell a little bit of a story like that when I'm talking about the book. Years ago, when I worked in the government in the UK, I was senior advisor to David Cameron. He was the Prime Minister. Before he was Prime Minister, there was an article written in The Spectator, the magazine, the printed magazine in the UK, political magazine. It was the cover story, and it was all about how I, as the senior advisor, was like the headline on the piece was California Dreaming. This is like 20 years ago, something like that. And the theme of the piece was Steve Hilton, David Cameron's kind of policy guru. The plan that he's making for the UK, that they're developing, is inspired by California to make the UK more like California. And it's called California Dreaming, the piece. And can you think of a single country where the advisor to any political leader would want to make their country more like California?
Not now.
No.
No.
And that shows how, they've ruined it so quickly, actually.
Yeah. Well, the other analogy...
It's been going downhill for a while, but the last 10 years, I don't know, it's just really accelerated.
It always... I don't know what the saying is, but it's like when... And it's a famous saying that I'm going to butcher, and I don't know if it's Ernest Hemingway or something, but it's like when somebody goes bankrupt, it's slow for a long time, and then it's
all
fast.
At once. Exactly.
And then it's all at once.
Exactly.
And we're in the all-at-once phase of California.
Yeah.
And I've also said this analogy. I got a lot of California analogies, but California is like an ocean, and an ocean next to a third world, and they can just keep running raw sewage into it, and it's so vast
Okay,
and
great.
so deep that it can absorb it. It just California could absorb anything. It could absorb illegals. It could absorb homeless people. It just could absorb everything. But at a certain point, after years of absorbing like just raw, untreated sewage, fish start floating up, and you're like, you killed the ocean.
Yes, this is right. This is what's happening.
We've absorbed this stuff. It's happened fast at the end, but it's been going on. Bad schools, bad policy, tax, bad
the
business,
bullshit, the
business
bloat,
regulation.
I remember you talking about it years ago, just with what you have to do to build anything. I mean, it's insane. The stories, I could even put them in the book. There's so many. I'm on the road the whole time. Like, there's one that's insane. Woman who runs a small winery, and she wanted to increase her permit for the number of guests. She built an extra patio or something, from 30 to 50. That process took 6 years and $1 million.
Right.
Consultants, lawyers. I was just talking to someone just now. I was out in San Bernardino County this morning. Building guy, construction, builds houses. And you get into the detail of it. I mean, you know this. It's just insane. You need to hire a consultant to get the grading permit, and then the city hires their consultant, which you have to pay for. And then there's a separate process for the environmental review. On and on. And it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It's stifling.
And they keep saying, the thing that's really fucking pissing me off right now is you've got Newsom out there. I've suddenly, there's something about what he's doing right now that is just so enraging when he's running around criticizing what's going on as if it's nothing to do with him or them. Like, he was on with like Ezra Klein. He's got this book, Abundance. People are talking about it on the left. I agree. Yes, we should have abundant everything. And we could have in California. Build the houses we need, the water infrastructure, energy infrastructure. That's what we used to do. We were the best in the world at it. And he's sitting there, Newsom, saying, yeah, very good point. Yes, we really need to do something. You've been there for 6 fucking years.
Now, I mean, the greatest, when Newsom at his best, Newsom has a couple of dodges and a couple of moves. It's a couple of techniques,
right.
like a martial artist.
Yes,
He's got a couple of techniques. And one of them, my favorite, is like when he shows up at the train tracks where everyone is robbing train cars pulling Amazon boxes and ripping them open and throwing them out. It looks like a third world dystopia in Sodom and Gomorrah hellscape. And then he jumps in and he goes, what the hell's going on around here?
I know.
What the hell's going on? You and your ilk are running this fucking city into the ground, you retard. That's what's going. What do you mean what's going on? You're what's going on, and the LA City Council is what's going on. So he does that move. The other move he does, which is funny, and I don't think that people really fully understand it, is someone says, businesses are fleeing, schools are underperforming, homelessness, people are unemployed, and he goes, it's disgusting. Disgusting. And it's like, it'd be like...
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. It'd be like
shamelessness
if I ran a factory. It's like if I took over your factory and I was the foreman of your factory and you go, none of the shipping orders are all screwed up, stuff's falling apart. A guy drove a forklift through my office the other day and knocked my desk over. Nothing's getting out.
Yeah.
Everything we're making is defective and being sent back. And I went, Steve, that's disgusting. Disgusting. You know what? You know who's more upset than you are? I am. I'm more upset than you are. It's like, yeah, except for you're the foreman and you run the factory.
Even when he says, trying to look this sort of fake, taking responsibility. Like the other, I think on the Ezra Klein thing, he said, yeah, that's on us. That's on us. No, it's on you.
Right.
You. Not us. What's this nebulous us? And he's going on about his party, we're so toxic. You're the leader. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Well, it's not, I mean, as I've said a million times, though, sadly, it's not his fault.
That's true.
He's a sociopathic, maniacal weirdo. There's something wrong with Gavin Newsom. He sat in here for an hour and a half. That
was an amazing. Is that when you were on the? That was a long time. You mean the one a while back? Or was there more?
Well, there was one from
when you really got him
10 years ago where he came in here, which was a mistake. But I wasn't planning on doing anything nefarious. It wasn't a gotcha kind of thing. He made a mistake with me, which is, and I don't know why, but it drives me nuts. When people start taking the English language and contorting it, you know what I mean? They'll go, well, Hobby Lobby is denying their female employees access to health care. And I'll go, they're denying them access to health care? Yeah. No, they're not providing them with birth control pills. Right. Yeah. Well, that's not denying them access to health care. Like, don't, just stop lying. It's weird and embarrassing. And so he tried to tell me that blacks and Hispanics in either LA or California don't have access to checking accounts.
Oh, that's right. Exactly.
So I wanted to know why. First off, have access. It could be choose not to get a checking account, but they have access to it. And by the way, how can it be 50% of Hispanics when California is 50% Hispanic? That's a lot of people that don't have checking accounts. Anyway, he sat here and he lied. Now, he's used to talking to Alex Michelson or whatever fucking bootlickers these guys talk to that just sit there and do softball after softball after softball interviews with them. It's not Alex's fault. He wants the next interview. So he has a weird choice. He has to either push back and never get another interview or ask no follow-up questions and get 30 interviews that no one gives a fuck about because there's no information being dispensed because you've asked him a softball question, he gave you a bullshit answer. I prefer to ask the follow-up questions. So I just kept asking him what's wrong with these people and what's going on. And he sounded like an insane person, quite honestly. He did sound. See, he doesn't know what he sounds like, and that's what makes him a sociopath.
But also, they use. I had a real. I want to get back to the more recent one because I hadn't heard that. But this language point.
Oh, you haven't heard this one with him?
Okay, do the second one, and then I've got a Karen Bass one for you. But do the second one.
We got a 2-minute version of it somewhere if you want it. You haven't heard the one from 10 years ago?
No, I've heard that one.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
But you haven't heard the one from 6 months ago?
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I have. Just remind me what it was.
That's with me on Chris Cuomo's show. Uh-huh. And I somehow got on a panel and somehow Newsom popped up on Zoom and we're all supposed to ask him a question. So I just rushed one out.
I don't remember.
Oh, well, that's a good one. Well, we'll find that one and then you can... We don't need check cashing because we know that one. But you can tell me Karen Bass.
About this language point and the bullshitting. And funnily enough, this was recent. This was last week. You'll totally relate to this one, given that you're in the middle of it all. And so something about it crystallized for me why nothing gets done. Because of their mentality, these people. So she puts out a tweet, a post on X. And the words that are typed, either she did it or her aides, were... I have just signed an executive order to streamline permitting. This was last week. Mm-hmm. Very simple, very clear. And you think, okay, great, good, finally. Okay, it's 4 months late, but whatever, good. But it was above a clip of her at the event when she announced this, of a video. So, okay, I'll watch it. 2-minute clip. This is what she actually said. I have just signed an executive order tasking agency heads to develop paths forward to streamline. It's bullshit. Nothing's going to happen. But she thinks that actually is action because they've got the mentality of the sort of bureaucrat. And this is what you get from a one-party system. It just throws up these people whose only skill is going to navigating the political machine.
Yeah, I think what we're getting into that I've been really thinking about for a while is these are process people.
Yes,
and I know
exactly.
Process people because my mom was a process person, but never got anything done.
Yes. Well, I mean, what are you talking about? Developing paths forward for streamlining.
Well, okay. When people do stuff and have a skill set, now you see Donald Trump, commercial developer, Rick Caruso, commercial developer, not process people, builders.
Yeah.
Builders. career politicians are process people. So they want to
Yes.
have a discussion, and they're going to have an exploratory blue ribbon committee, and they're going to study the data, and everything is about slow down, safety, and we're having a meeting about
Yes.
it. We're going to explore this, and then we need to know the impact that this is going to have
Exactly
on
right.
whatever it is.
Exactly right.
And at the end of the day, it is basically the old basketball 4 corners run out the clock, back
Yeah.
when they used to let you run out the clock. In college, before they had a shot clock, you just run that clock out. They run out the
Yes.
clock. And
Yeah.
that's what they do with everything. But they're process people. They shouldn't be in these positions.
Yes. And that's what Bill Maher got. You could see, I think he's way too soft on Newsom. He's sort of half in love with him, it seems to me. Always so nice to him. But actually, last time when he was on the other week, maybe it was last Friday, I can't remember, maybe just now. And he quoted it back to him. He said, the last time you were here, he was asking about all the regulations and getting things built. He said, the last time you were here, you said you're going to deal with this. And he said, it's a new day. And like nothing's changed.
No, their raison d'etre is to make regulation. They're process people.
Yes,
That's what
exactly.
they want. They sit all day and have meetings about process.
Yes.
I read a tweet today that Karen Bass is, going to require the LA City Council, all people who rent apartments, landlords are going to have to provide a stove and a refrigerator. The first apartment I rented in North Hollywood when I was, 19, it didn't have a stove or refrigerator. I went and found it.
Yes.
I bought a used stove and a used refrigerator. I didn't have any money. But the point is that's between me and the landlord. It has nothing to do with you, Karen Bass. And literally you're passing this stuff while homeless people are languishing in the street, while schools are failing their students and so on and so forth.
Yes.
This is the kind of stuff you guys
That's what
are
they
focused
do. This
on.
is what they do because that's what they know. That's
what they know. Let's tell somebody what to do.
But I think I don't want to be too fair because I just think it's so disgusting what they've done. I don't know. I think they probably think that is acting. They really believe that.
They go, what are we here to do? And they go, we are here to talk about regulation.
Yeah.
Not abolish regulation, create regulation. So they sit around all day and then someone goes, look, there was a guy I'll play the clip from me and Gavin Newsom on Cuomo. He wasn't expecting this, I think is what it was.
Adam Carolla here. Governor, why did you shut the beaches in California during COVID?
Hold on. I'm supposed to ask him a question about the upcoming debate.
Oh, right.
About the Biden-Trump debate. So that's what he thought.
Adam Carolla here. Governor, why did you shut the beaches in California during COVID?
Yeah, I think we all were working on information at the time. We had no basis of deeply understanding the virus. I think they did the same thing.
So you didn't know
I know they
anything,
did the
so
same
why'd
thing
you shut the
in
beaches?
states like Florida.
If you didn't know anything, why'd you shut the beaches?
Well, we didn't know. Yeah, because people were concerned early in the pandemic. Information was coming out as it relates to how it was transferred, the disease, and people were cautious, trying to keep people alive. And I should say this,
So you
Adam,
didn't
you
let
should know
them
this
go in
on
the
health, wealth, and
sunshine and get
education.
vitamin
California
D
outperformed.
and exercise, so you shut the beaches. Okay. And you arrested a guy who was paddleboarding in the bay.
On health, wealth, and
yeah, any
it's always
science
good to
behind
see
that?
Adam. And,
Any science
we're
at
all
all behind
geniuses in
shutting outdoor
hindsight.
dining?
Oh,
Why'd you
we're all
shut down outdoor dining?
Go ahead, go.
Science?
It's good to see Adam.
Based on
So,
science,
look,
you didn't
at the end
have?
of the day, the debate tonight.
It's not a debate. You shut
I'm
down
looking
outdoor
forward to the
dining.
debate,
You canceled
compare and
businesses.
contrast
Had
tonight.
nothing to do with science.
All right, let him finish.
Keep lying. All right, go ahead.
No, it's fantastic. But look at it. The point is, brilliant.
Thank you.
But
That's the only way you can deal with
Yes,
him. If
but
you
it's-
fucking sit back and let him filibust about how much better they're doing than Florida, then you're fucking
Exactly right.
You can't let that liar get ahead of steam. You have to constantly cut him off.
And it's
Idiots.
such a lie.
It's all a lie, but they
I-
sit back and let him lie, and then when he's done lying, they go,
And
"All
they
right,
say, we
I got
didn't.
another question."
No, but this thing is really important. We never forget this, right? I'm obsessed with it and not letting them forget. Which is this. In hindsight, and we didn't know that. That is bullshit. We knew at the time. I did a show it was March 2020, right at the beginning, right? Basically a month. It was before
the beginning,
before the end of the 15 days thing.
Lockdown, yeah.
Right? So you had the Fed saying this is ridiculous. And I had Jay Bhattacharya, who I was the first one to put him on TV. No, because I live up there in the Bay Area near Stanford. I got to know him through that network. Mm-hmm. And we were saying all this then, right at the beginning.
Yes.
It can't be transmitted outdoors. The outdoor thing is insane and wrong and anti-science. The masks don't work. Even the masks thing, right at the beginning, we knew the point about the aerosols, and so it's all bullshit. They knew at the time. They just were on this ideological, we're going to shut everything down, control thing.
They like fucking power.
Yes,
and
exactly.
they like being the king, and that's all it is. Shutting the beaches. Look, doing things that are doing things that are necessary mean you're in charge, and that's what a person who is in charge would do. So when you're, doing things that are necessary, you go, well, listen, I think the speed limit is 40 miles an hour, but it should be 25 in the school zone during school hours. And you go, okay, that's you in charge. But it's like, all right, that makes sense. That kids run across the street during school hours. But if I go, all of you, when you walk your dog, if you come across a telephone pole, you have to go around it 3 times, and then you can continue. Yeah. That means I'm fucking king. That means I'm really in charge. You know what I mean? Like, I could tell anyone here, hey, the trash can's overflowing. You think you could empty the trash can? That doesn't really... I'm the boss, but that means I'm the boss.
You know, that's not far... Sorry to interrupt, but that thing about the walking around, that's not far off what you have.
No, that's what I'm saying. If I say to an employee, get down and give me 10 push-ups right now, well, then I'm the king.
Yes.
I'm the king. And that's what they like. Unnecessary regulation makes them... Arresting people in the bay paddleboarding alone makes you the king.
I remember we were going for a hike with some friends. It was in Sonoma County. I think it's Jack London Park. I don't know if that's the name of the park. Night. There's no one there. It's outdoors. There's literally no one else there. There was some kind of park ranger guy. And we came out of the trail and there's no one else there. This guy literally came up to us and said, you're walking the wrong way round the hiking trail.
Wow.
You're supposed to be going whatever, anti-clockwise. Are you joking now? I said, no. And for the rest of it, you have to...
Yeah.
Like, what?
I listen, it's the worst impulse a human could have. They all showed their cards. Gavin Newsom showed his cards. Gretchen Whitmer showed her cards. All the mayors showed their cards. If you guys want to be tyrannical dictators, I don't want you in power.
I totally agree. I think it's disqualifying. That's why I don't want to let it go. And the first chapter of this book is, it's elitism. But this is the example of it, because the other part of it is that they didn't care that the people being crushed by this were the working class people, all the people, working in bars and restaurants and hotels and all the things.
Yes.
They just didn't give a crap about that.
I agree, but Steve, the point, somebody votes for these people and somebody becomes their foot soldiers and somebody becomes the enforcement wing of their fucking retarded propaganda. And a lot of citizens need to find a mirror and figure out what the hell you're doing and what your role was and why you think this is a good idea.
Yeah.
And why you continuously vote for these people.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to be in power.
No. But I do think it's changing. Look, I mean...
It's changing, but you have...
But we got to make it change. I mean, we have to beat these people. They have to be defeated.
The problem with California is, you can blame my mom, who's not with us anymore, but like one of the last things she said to me, she just goes, I don't know who this Larry Elder is, but I know Gavin Newsom. He's a Democrat, and I'm voting for him, And Bill Maher will sit around and complain about every single stifling policy that is foisted upon him and every single thing he hates about the Democrats, and then he will vote for Gavin Newsom or whatever the Democrat is. Now, that's a hard one to overcome, because if it's a situation where you just get the constituency and you go, look, is your life better now than it was 10 years ago in this city or this state? Do you feel like you're paying too much in taxes? Have you seen what our gas prices are versus Texas? Have you checked the scores at the schools? How about safety? Do you feel safe? You've been told not to go out wearing an expensive watch, look over your shoulder when you're driving. Do you think you're better off? And they would say no. And then you'd go, okay, well then vote for a group that is not the group that implemented all this stuff, which would be logical. It would be pragmatic. And it would be fine if there weren't a bunch of narcissists who went, yeah, but I'm a Democrat. Right. Yeah. And that's what happens. They go, yeah, but like Bill Maher, his whole plan is overhaul the political group that wants men competing with biological women, that wants an open border, that wants higher taxes and more regulations so you have to wait another year to get solar in your house. Well, instead of completely rebuild that from the ground up, how about you slide on over to the group that never wanted that in the first place?
That agrees with you and all that. I totally agree. I mean,
they can't do
every
it.
time you see one of these Bill Maher things, and he always said, well, yeah, but I'm a Democrat. I'm a Democrat. Well, but you're supporting the exact things that you say you're against. I think that, however, in California, it's really interesting. If you look at the share of the vote was like the same. It's usually, always been roughly 40% Republican. It's a lot more than people think, by the way, in California. Yeah. They assume it's like 80-20. It's not. It's more like 60-40. But if you look at the number of votes last time for Trump and translate that to 2026, which is a midterm election, if everybody who voted for Trump votes Republican in the governor race in 2026, then we'll win that. But of course, in a midterm, that you don't get the same numbers. But the reason I mention that is that there are enough Republicans in California. They just don't always show up. So it's not just about converting the Democrats or even independents. So I think there's an opportunity to put together a winning number of votes. It's not going to be easy, but I think we can do it. And people are so pissed off with it now. I think that it's so obvious. Exactly.
The fire was, everyone always said, the answer was, everyone would say, when is this going to end? And then the popular answer is, we haven't hit rock bottom yet. Then I would always go, I don't get why we have to hit rock bottom. Why can't we just change slightly before we hit rock bottom? Exactly. And they go, no, we got to hit rock bottom. Then we'll change. And then the fires came, and that could have been rock bottom.
Well, we'll see. Look, I'm working with Nicole Shanahan on the recall for Karen Bass, because it's such an obvious and catastrophic failure that I mean, it's not going. Again, it's not easy. You've got to get a lot of signatures, and we're just at the beginning of that process. But if we can beat the Democrat machine and this Democrat mindset with Karen Bass here, I think that, again, that's a really good sign that it might be possible, that things are changing. That's why I think it's a really important. This Karen Bass recall, I think, is important for that reason.
Yeah, certainly symbolically.
Yes,
because the election's coming up in June, I think it is
next year.
15 months.
Yeah.
There's a clip talking about spending time doing nothing, where they're sitting there in the LA City Council and they're trying to make sure that folks that own apartment buildings provide stoves and refrigerators for, again, you have to step over homeless people to get to the guy's apartment. But that clip, Dawson, of the Orange County representative who is putting a bill forward to get rid of Clear.
Oh, yes.
That one is awesome because I love any rearranging of the deck chairs on the Titanic, people. You know what I mean? Like all the guys that we're in a failed state, unemployment, drugs, homeless. Yes. I mean, all the stuff everyone knows
the other
about.
One like that, I think.
And he wants to get rid of Clear.
But the toy stores, the
third aisle for the transgender, that's already done.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, this is what they're focused on. It's just amazing. The other thing is just the sheer amount of nonsense that they're pushing out. So this year, or like the two guys who are the head of the Democrats in the state legislature, in the Assembly and the Senate, imposed a limit on the number of bills that each legislator could put out. With the limit imposed already this year, it's not even the whole year, like it's since the end of January, they've published more than 2,200 bills already.
I know.
And just no one can keep track of it. No one can even read it. Newsom will just sign them. It's just, and a few of them pop up, the more outrageous ones, but no one can cover this stuff. And again, in Texas, they have a legislature that meets, I think it's like 140 days every 2 years. They don't have this. I just ran into Chris Sununu, the former governor of New Hampshire. He said they're the legislators. They're barely paid anything.
Right.
So they have to have another job.
Right.
So they're not just professional politicians sitting there churning this crap out.
Yeah, California is basically, if any good has come of California, it's a cautionary tale with for all the pie in the sky idiots around the country going, sorry, but this is how it ends up. I love all your plans of no one's illegal and everyone needs world-class health care and, these are undocumented neighbors who need help and we need compassion for the homeless. Well, this is how it ends up.
Well, it's not compassion. I mean, there's one of the things in one of the chapters is I call it compassionism. It's like performative. It's like the ideological.
Yeah,
it's not actual compassion. It's like I want to look like compassionate.
It's all virtue.
But it's even with the climate stuff, like the insanity of shutting down our oil industry only to import it from Iraq on giant super tankers halfway across the world, spewing out carbon emissions. They are literally increasing carbon emissions in the name of climate.
Yeah, nothing. Sorry, a little shade fell off. Do we have that clip, by the way, or not? Oh, all right. Hey, Byron.
Clear. Yeah.
I got a little screen here, and you can put stuff on it. Just go, I got it. Oh, you didn't have it before. Oh, you do have it. Just the second I said it.
Airports. Okay. All clear really does is it moves me in front of you, and we get to the same place in front of the conveyor belt. Only by then, you're mad. The TSA agents all stressed.
This is Josh Newman, Democrat from Orange County, who wants to get rid of Clear at the airport. All right, sorry, go ahead.
It moves me in front of you, and we get to the same place in front of the conveyor belt. Only by then, you're mad. The TSA agents all stressed out, and I paid $189 because I think I'm better than you.
How is this different?
All right, hold on. These guys are fucking retarded. I mean, look, here's all I'm saying. Whether it's this idiot or Nithya Raman blaming Toyota for the stealing of catalytic
converters.
Okay, listen, we cannot have people think like this in positions of power. There's something wrong. There's something wrong with the way they think, so we have to get rid of them.
Yes, we do. Exactly. But there's they keep churning it out. I mean, and we don't even know. This is how it accumulates over the years. These bills, thousands of them every year, all as insane because it's a super majority, right? So they don't even. The Republicans can't do anything, and it's just exactly right. It's the mindset. That's exactly right. They just think in this ridiculous way. They're not getting up in the morning thinking about any of the things you just listed. Like, okay, how can I do something that would help with the crime or deal with homelessness or bring down people's whatever? No, they're thinking about how they can push forward whatever ideological bullshit they believe in.
I've been saying this for a long time. They have a broken way of thinking. They're not pragmatic. And what I'm saying is it's not this Josh idiot. He's not just thinking about the TSA and Clear. He's making legislation.
Yes.
He got everything. Yes. I'm sure he fucked COVID up 10 ways to Sunday, right? With this 10-cent head of his. And Nithya Raman does the same thing. So look, what I'm saying is if you said, well, would you like Adam in charge of infrastructure? And you'd go, yeah, Adam's a good dude. He believes in the chupacabra, but he might be good at infrastructure. You'd go, well, wait a second. I don't want a guy thinks about a mythical goat from Mexico. Don't get him started because he's really into the chupacabra. It's like, well, maybe he's not the right guy for this job. What's chupacabra have to do with infrastructure? It's like, I'll tell you what it has to do with. A mindset. The guy's an idiot. He believes in the mythical goat sucker from Tijuana. Maybe he has other thoughts that are pretty bad as well. And if you believe Toyota is at fault for their catalytic converters being stolen and not gangbangers who steal catalytic converters, then there's something wrong with your head. And if you think eliminating Clear is something you should be working on and prioritizing, then there's something wrong. Yes. And then that carries over. Like when
it's a really good point. This is exactly
we call people Nazis. These people call people Nazis all day long. They don't go, well, he's a Nazi, but make a hell of a brisket, and he's a good dude, and he's a good... Then they go, he's a Nazi. Because they go, that's enough for him to be a horrible person.
Yes.
You guys, this is enough. You're dumb enough
exactly right.
for everything.
It's exactly right, and it's these specific things that illustrate the point. That's like going back to the Karen Bass thing. It shows the mentality.
Yes, you have a 10-cent head.
Exactly, and you know that that's being applied to everything, and that's why everything's a disaster. It's exactly right. And that's a really good point about the clear thing, because let's just work it through. So he's sitting there thinking like, anything where you pay for something, it's not fair. It's like fairness and justice.
You think
and
you're
equity.
better than I am? How about I'm a taxpayer who travels a lot for work on weekends,
but it's
and I'd like to
ridiculous.
make it to the airport?
What are you going to do now? Like you can't have every room in every hotel is going to be exactly the same, or whatever, or every
concert venue.
You know,
it's going to be the same price. We sit in the nosebleeds, or you sit up front.
Stupid.
No, it's stupid, but it's socialist.
It's a socialist, exactly
it's
right.
Socialist
it's the mentality.
thinking. You're saying who you are.
Yes, exactly.
And
exactly.
You're Barack Obama going, you think you built that business yourself? You didn't build that business. Somebody else. Oh, boy, okay. I know who you are. Right. You're saying who you are.
Yes.
I wish more people would understand what they're saying.
It's really deep and important, and that's honestly what I was trying to do with the first part of the book was to go through like who are they? That's a great way of putting it. What do they really believe? What is driving it? It's not enough to say Democrat or left wing. It's more than that.
This imbecile Newman, I think his name was, right?
Yeah, Josh Newman.
All right.
Is it Josh? I think so. Yeah.
If he said, I want to get rid of clear because what clear does is it makes the general boarding line that much longer on TSA. And so what I want to do is I want to take the money, some of the money that is earned from clear, from the $189, and give it toward hiring additional TSA agents so we can get the line shortened. That's one thing. But because I think I'm better than you, you're a communist now.
That's right. That is exactly the right... I mean, I remember when we moved here 2012 from England, and I would hear people use that word, communist, right, in relation to political arguments about the left. And my parents are Hungarian, and my stepfather, everyone's Hungarian in my family. Most of them still live in Hungary. When I was a kid, I mean, we went every year.
Did you get the chicken paprikash?
I make it.
With no kettle?
No kettle, yeah.
Well, I don't do the...
Galushka.
Okay.
Uborka.
How do you do it? Give me a recipe. I've been talking about this for a long time.
Are you kidding? No, I'll make it for you. It's my go-to.
I don't want it with tomatoes.
No, that's wrong.
It's wrong.
It's wrong.
It's wrong.
Yeah, and some people.
I keep yelling at everyone. It's wrong. They're like, I gotta put tomato paste. I go, that's not how Laszlo
No, that's insanely wrong.
It's insanity.
You shouldn't even put some people put a little like actual tomatoes. That's
no.
See, look how American I am. I now say
fucking argument with people all the
time.
No,
you're completely right. It's not. It's fat, which actually should be lard, not olive oil or anything like that. Should be lard.
Yeah, keep going.
Onions, and then the paprika. Which
not paprika.
No, paprika. Paprika. And you add it off the heat, but in the fat, then you mix it, and then you add the meat, and then a little bit of water. That's basically all you need.
How do you do your no kettle or no kettle?
Well, it's just eggs, flour, bit of water, and salt. And then you do you mean the galushka szagtató. Yeah. That's a thing in Hungary. I mean, you got that little device.
I got the little boat.
The boat, yes, yeah, exactly.
And I put it over the boiling water.
It's very important to have the right equipment for that.
Is there anything better? When you ladle that juice over the no kettle, is there anything better?
It's amazing. It's perfect.
Well,
but you do the real thing. You've got to have potatoes as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But okay, so the right way to do that is you boil them. Well, you could you actually sort of lengthways sliced, not thin, like I suppose like fat chips, fat French fries, boiled potatoes. That's perfect. And
with the no kettle as well.
Yeah, both double starch, exactly.
Wow.
And then you have to have. I would say you either like in Hungary you would have kovászos uborka, which is the whole, pickled dill gherkins, or you can have cucumber salad.
But
I make it with cucumber salad.
A little bit sweet.
Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah, Laszlo would make the cucumber salad.
So my stepfather is called Laszlo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you ever call him Lotzi?
Lotzi, yeah. Exactly.
It's my grandfather's name.
Amazing. So there you are. So we're all Hungarian. But the point I was going to make is like, we, what are they not expecting that?
Yeah.
So the thing is that, so I saw communism, like we lived it. My family was, my dad was a refugee from my mum left a bit later, but, it was very, steeped in me. And so when I first came here and heard people use it in I thought, this isn't communism. That's too far. It's not, you call it socialism, but it's not really communism. But the more I think about it, the more I've seen of it, it's the same mentality.
Yeah.
And it's the same desire to control and impose your view. And actually some of the outcomes are now getting pretty close to it, honestly.
Yeah. Look, they may not be a communist. They're on the road to that, and that's the direction they're moving.
I mean, look at the way, and definitely sort of deep socialism, like in the British sense for the, first few years of it when they took power after the Second World War, of like common ownership of everything. I mean, look at here in California, their answer partly to the fact that oil refineries now are shutting down or leaving, which means that because we don't have any oil pipelines into California, that means we'd not only have to import our crude oil, which we do right now, but actually finished gasoline will have to be brought in on ships. So because there are not enough refineries. So what's their answer to that? To take over, for the government, for the state government to run the oil refineries. That's actually their plan. It's unbelievable.
Well, again, that's only possible because people are dumb narcissists. Steve, let me give you a plug because now we got to get off. You got to make me some chicken paprikash.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Do you have I have the strainer or the
it's
grater.
Called Galushka Sagdator.
Is that what the thing is called?
Yes.
It's got a little boat on it. You dump it in
it's
like
a
pancake
very,
batter.
Yeah, exactly. It's like people could imagine it. It's like a grater with round holes, but big one. Bigger than on a grater.
Yeah,
and it's got a plastic, like a cup
hopper.
There you are. Exactly. Construction.
Yeah.
And you sort of pour it in and
when it
move
floats
up and
to the
down,
top, you just
and you
skim
get
it
these
off.
little dribble. It's a little bit like gnocchi, but it's smaller.
It's better. Better. All right. We'll talk off the air. CALIFAILURE, reversing the ruin of America's worst run state. It's available now. You can get on Amazon, where you find finer books. At SteveHiltonShow.com, as well as the website. I'm going to be in San Diego doing stand-up April 11th and 12th. A couple of shows there each night at the American Comedy Club. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Steve Hilton and Joe Dombrowski and Mayhem saying mahalo.